My mother-in-law didn't want to acknowledge me as her son-in-law, so she heartlessly tried to send my twins to an orphanage. I got so mad that I knocked her out, right on the spot, grabbed my twin daughters, and ran away. Who would have thought that after running for 5 years, they'd still find me? At this moment, Feng Ming looked up at his dad, blinking his big, beautiful round eyes. Daddy! Who is she? I sighed helplessly and replied in 2 words. Your mom. Seeing how straightforward I was, in acknowledging her identity, Bai Ningbing let out a cold snort, and the irritation in her heart eased up a bit. Just then, Fang Ningbing blinked and asked me, do we have a mom? We didn't have a mom. So how come we never knew about it until now? Then where do you two think you came from? How would I know? Didn't Daddy say that my sister and I came out from inside a rock? When did I ever say you two came out from inside a rock? Well, back then, during bedtime stories, Daddy said that once upon a time, there was a little monkey born from inside a rock. I asked Daddy if Xiaoming and Xiaoqi were just like that, and Daddy said yes. Feng Ningqi also chimed in to agree. That's right, that's right. Daddy, you totally told me and Xiaoming that. I really didn't expect that a joke I made with the kids in the past would be taken as a fact by them now. If she isn't your mom, then who is she? Feng Ningqi pouted her lips, puffing up her cheeks like buns, and said, how should I know? Where did this random auntie come from, running over here and absolutely insisting on claiming to be my mom? Xiaoming has never even met her before. So what should we do now? Xiaoming doesn't know. Xiaoming doesn't know either. How about we kick her out? Take it easy, sweetie. She's still a girl after all. And just like that, since the moment she walked in, Bai Ningbing didn't even get a chance to say a single word before I grabbed her by the back of her collar and threw her out the door like a piece of trash. Thrown out the front door like literal trash. Not until the door slammed shut did Bai Ningbing snap out of it. Furious, she screamed at the top of her lungs, hey, you guy named Fang, open the door for me right now. I spent 5 hard years searching for you guys, and this is how you treat me? You actually dared to throw me out. You guy named Fang? Are you gonna open up? Believe it or not, I'll have someone smash this door down. The bodyguard who always followed her around quietly handed over a hammer. CEO. Bai, here's a hammer for you. Using this is best for smashing things. Whatever you want to break, using this will be the fastest. Bai Ningbing looked at the hammer in his hand, her face darkening as her eyes twitched. A hammer? Am I supposed to use your hammer, CEO Bai? It's a call from the company. The secretary, who had followed her for years, hurriedly handed over the phone. Hearing that it was a call from the company, Bai Ningbing suppressed her rage. This is Bai Ningbing. What's wrong? The person on the other end of the line was absolutely terrified by her roaring voice. See, CEO, something happened at the company. After listening to the report, Bai Ningbing sighed. I got it. I'll head back to the company right away. I'll be there in about 3 hours. Hanging up the phone, she stared intently at the door, separating her from the daughters she hadn't seen in 5 years. In the end, she could only grit her teeth and try to calm herself down. Hey, you guy named Fang? I have to go back to the company. Things are too busy lately, so I won't be able to see the kids anytime soon. Let me take one more look at them or else I'll smash this damn door to pieces, not knowing if it was because she said she was busy returning to the company, or if I was afraid she'd break the door and annoy me. I still decided to open the door. The moment the door opened, Bai Ningbing instantly saw her 2 daughters whom she had yearned for, day and night, for the past 5 years. One was lying quietly in my arms, her tiny hand tightly clutching my shirt, already fast asleep. The other one was hugging my neck, drinking the last bit of milk left. Her big, round, sparkling eyes looked curiously at the woman in front of her. I frowned. Curiously looking at the woman in front of me, I frowned. I said to this woman, who was already completely unreasonable 5 years ago, what's all the racket for? Xiaoming just fell asleep. If you wake her up, will you soothe her? Bai Ningbing looked at the sleeping child and instinctively apologized. Sorry. I didn't know she fell asleep so fast. Before she could even finish her sentence, even she herself was stunned. The secretary and bodyguard next to her were completely dumbfounded. When had they ever seen their cold, domineering, queen-like CEO act so cautious? Bai Ningbing quickly snapped back to reality. Wait, this isn't right. Why on earth should I apologize to him? Give my kids back to me right now. Otherwise, before she could finish, I slammed the door shut again. Bai Ningbing didn't react in time, and her forehead smashed right into the door. It hurt so much that she gasped. That bastard, the bodyguard asked in a low voice. CEO, what should we do now? Should I break the door down? Bai Ningbing glared over at him, scaring the bodyguard so much that he didn't dare move. Break down what? If you wake my kids up, are you going to soothe them? Let's head back to the company first. That matter can't be delayed. Book the plane tickets right now. You stay here and keep an eye on them. Report any news to me immediately. Understood. CEO, you guy named Fang. You refuse to give my kids back, right? Just you wait. After Bai Ningbing left, I gently placed the sleeping Fang Ningqi onto the bed, pulled out a tissue, and carefully wiped the cookie crumbs off my child's mouth. Feng Ningqi finished her milk and also leaned against her sister, falling fast asleep. After finishing everything, I dialed a phone number. After a few rings, a hearty elderly voice came through from the other end of the line. "What's up, Z? Yuan, why are you calling this old man so late?" I said to him. "The Bai family has found me and the kids. They even sent someone over to harass us." Old Bai chuckled. "Z, Yuan, if all else fails, you should just go with the flow. After all, she is Xiaoming and Xiaoqi's mother, the eldest daughter of the Bai family, currently the CEO of the Bai group with assets reaching billions of dollars." I snapped, "If you keep joking around like this, then I won't need your help anymore. I'll handle it myself." Hey, don't. I was just joking. "Don't worry if the Bai family dares to touch your family. The National Academy of Sciences won't stand for it, and the higher-ups won't let it slide either." Hearing these words, my heart felt a wave of warmth. That's right, ever since I agreed to become a modified human, quietly supporting the big picture and eliminating threats from others, whether it was the higher-ups or the National Academy of Sciences, they had always provided my family with the best life and protection. Otherwise, relying on myself alone, how could I have escaped from Bai Ningbing's massive influence and her relentless search for 5 whole years? Old Bai suddenly said, "By the way, the results of your comprehensive health check are out." My heart trembled. Looking at my 2 kids on the bed, I lowered my voice and asked, "So how much longer do I have to live?" Old Bai went silent for a moment. "About 23 years?" I whispered back, 23 years. That's enough for me to see Xiao Ming and the kids grow up. Right, Jieyuan? About my grandson, have you considered that marriage alliance? Even though he's a few years older than the girls, it won't matter by the time they grow up. Forget it, goodbye, Old Bai. I hung up immediately, trying to groom my little princess. In your dreams, Daddy. I was just about to go down to the bar to grab a drink to drown my sorrows when I heard my daughter's voice. Turning my head around, Feng Ningqi had woken up at some point and was sitting on the bed, rubbing her eyes. I was a bit surprised, given Xiaoqi's usual routine. She would normally sleep straight through the night until morning, and rarely ever woke up in the middle of it. "What's wrong, Xiaoqi?" Xiaoqi stretched out her chubby little hands. Though her eyes were still blurry with sleep, she still called out spoiledly, "Daddy, hold me." Hearing that call, and looking at her adorable face, my heart completely melted. I immediately pulled her into my arms. "What is it? Did you have a nightmare?" Xiaoqi wrapped one arm around my neck, while using the other to rub her eyes, letting out a long yawn. Long yawn? "No, Xiaoqi is just hungry." I smiled dotingly. "All right. Daddy will go buy some food for you, okay?" "What do you want to eat?" Xiaoqi thought for a moment. "I want fried chicken, a large portion, plus 2 orders of French fries and 2 sodas." "All right, but it's too late now. Can we change the sodas to milk furthermore? After eating, you have to take your medicine. Then brush your teeth and wash your face." Seeing that Xiaoming hadn't woken up and was still sleeping with her mouth wide open, I carried Xiaoqi downstairs. Happily returning to the room, Xiaoqi picked up the fried chicken and started munching. She tore off a chicken drumstick and handed it to me. "Daddy, eat." "Daddy, you eat too." Xiaoqi is eating as well. Xiaoqi happily munched on the fried chicken. One bite of chicken, one sip of milk, her cheeks puffing up looking so adorable. Her little face was smeared with grease, and from time to time I helped wipe her mouth, my gaze growing gentler and gentler as I watched her. "Oh right, Daddy," Xiaoqi suddenly asked, "Was that lady just now really my mom?" I froze looking into those clear eyes, silenced for a moment. I still couldn't bring myself to keep hiding the truth from her. "She is your mother." Xiaoqi blinked her eyes. "Then how come I've never seen her before?" I pursed my lips, not daring to look directly into her eyes. Not knowing how to answer, Xiaoqi took a tissue, wiped her tiny hands, lifted my face, gave me a kiss, and said in a childish voice, "Daddy, don't cry. If Daddy doesn't want to say, then I won't ask anymore." Looking at my daughter, who was so sensible, I forced out a smile and gently rubbed her little head. "Then does Xiaoqi want to live with Mom, Xiao? Will Daddy live together with Xiaoqi, my sister, and Mom too?" I hesitated for a moment, testing the waters. If Daddy says just an if, okay? What if Xiaoming and Xiaoqi go live with Mom? Before I could even finish my words, Xiaoqi's big, beautiful round eyes instantly filled with tears. The little girl looked at me feeling extremely wronged. "Daddy doesn't want Xiaoming anymore. You don't want Xiaoming anymore either." I panicked. "Seriously, Xiaoming, don't. Don't cry. Okay, Daddy won't say it anymore. Won't say it anymore, all right?" Xiaoming jumped down from the chair and threw herself into my arms, her tiny body trembling slightly. "Daddy, you mustn't abandon Xiaoming. Xiaoming doesn't want to leave Daddy." I hugged her tightly, gently patting her small back. "Daddy will never abandon Xiaoming. Daddy was just saying if. Even an if is not allowed, all right? All right, no more ifs. Then does Xiaoming want to live with Mom?" Xiaoming looked up with tearful eyes. Will daddy live together with Xiaoming? My sister and mom too. I stayed silent for a long time, then gently shook my head. Why? Does daddy still not want Xiaoming and my sister? Seeing that my daughter was about to burst into tears again, I hurriedly said, no, it's because your mom doesn't like daddy. So she can't live together with daddy. Then I don't want to live with mom either, Xiao. Qi, stop causing a fuss. If even mom doesn't like daddy, then Xiao Qi won't like mom either. I only want to be by daddy's side. I smiled helplessly. Have you really thought it through? If you go with mom, you'll have lots of delicious food and beautiful clothes. You can go anywhere you want to play. At that time, daddy won't be able to lecture you anymore. Xiao Qi doesn't need those things. Without daddy, what good are those things anyway? Daddy is only strict with me because you love me. If daddy doesn't lecture me anymore, it means daddy doesn't care about me anymore. I was stunned. It was hard to believe that these words actually came out from a child who wasn't even 5 years old. Xiao Qi leaned into my chest and pouted her small lips. Besides, since the time I grew up to this age, she has never come to look for me. She has never picked me up from school, nor has she ever taken me out to play. I don't need a terrible mom like that. I gently rubbed her small head. Seeing my little daughter so attached to me like this, my heart suddenly swelled with emotion. Very. Well, tomorrow shall we go visit Grandma and Grandpa? Yes, please. It's been so long since I last saw Grandma and Grandpa. Past 8 a.m. the next morning, I carried Xiao Qi, who was still fast asleep, along with Xiaoming, and left the hotel. The group of bodyguards who had been monitoring us over there immediately called to report to Bai Ningbing. CEO Bai, they left. Having just returned home, Bai Ningbing, with a tired face, answered the phone. Follow them and see where they are going. Don't lose track of them like last time. Understood, CEO Bai. Right now, her mind was filled only with her daughters, and their well-behaved, adorable appearances. She had long started to feel regret. Why did she let that ordinary man make her utter such harsh words back then? She could never have expected that such a weak man would actually dare to take away their newly born daughters and vanish. Bai Ningbing let out a self-deprecating smile. Her past self was truly too naive to the point where even she herself found it ridiculous now. But the phone call that came right after made her unable to smile anymore. Our report, CEO Bai. I lost track of them again. Bai Ningbing shot up from her chair, her brows furrowed tightly, her hands clenching in rage so hard that she seemed about to grit her teeth to pieces. What, you lost track of them again? Where did you lose them? Right at the entrance of a parking garage. Judging by their direction, it seems they are heading to a high-speed rail station. I got it. Bai Ningbing hung up and immediately ordered her people to investigate my whereabouts. Looking at the screen displaying over 10 different routes, she fell into deep thought. Since he took the high-speed rail, it proves he won't be going too far. The daughters wouldn't be able to handle a long trip either. After observing for a long time, Bai Ningbing suddenly noticed there was a route leading towards Shancheng town. Without even taking a break, she wanted to seize this free time to make a trip to Shancheng. Just as she stood up, a deep, heavy voice rang out. Ningbing, where are you going in such a rush? Bai Ningbing turned her head around and saw a middle-aged man walking down from the second floor. Dad. Bai Jian looked at his daughter, who had barely been home lately. What have you been so busy with these days? You keep running off and are nowhere to be seen. You haven't even been going to the company. Yesterday, your mother went over there but couldn't find you either. Dad, don't worry about it. I have some personal matters to handle. Bai Ningbing grabbed her handbag and was about to leave. Gu, you has returned. Aren't you planning to go see him? He said he doesn't mind what happened 6 years ago. On the contrary, he even feels blamed himself for not protecting you well enough back then. Bai Ningbing pursed her lips tightly. I did indeed like Guyu in the past, but that's all ancient history now. What happened back then was because I was stupid. It has nothing to do with him. Dad, tell him to stop blaming himself, and as for getting back together, forget about it. The world isn't lacking good women. Why should he bother himself over someone like me? After saying this, Bai Ningbing hurriedly left. Looking at his daughter's retreating figure, Bai Jian let out a deep sigh, shaking his head in utter dismay. Fang Yuan, just what on earth did you do to make Ningbing fly into such a furious rage? Could it be that back then? Meanwhile, I carried Xiaoqi and got off the vehicle with everyone. Looking at the small 3-story house in front of me, my heart swelled with an indescribable surge of emotions. How long had it been since I last returned to this place? I wonder how mom and dad are doing lately. At that exact moment, a fierce scolding rang out, seemingly about to explode the entire kitchen. Long. Yeah, where the hell did you go? What on earth are you doing? I told you to get a plate and you're taking forever. Coming here? A young man in his early 20s hurriedly ran out. But the moment he stepped into the kitchen, he suddenly froze in shock. You useless thing, I told you to get a plate and you're just standing there. Are you daydreaming? Or what? But when that person saw me and the kids, she also froze on the spot, her face covered in utter shock, looking at the two stunned people. Over there, I smiled and greeted them. Sis Fang Longi, long time no see? Fang Yao was stunned for a moment, then immediately reacted. Second brother, you're finally back. He rushed over right in front of me and gave me a tight hug. Fang Longi was also filled with joy, turning his head toward the inside of the house and shouting, Mom, Dad! My big brother is back. Who is back? When Mom and Dad walked out and saw us. Their faces were filled with pure shock, mixed with seeing that Mom and Dad's hair had grown much whiter. My nose twitched all of a sudden. I tried my best to put on a bright smile, calling out to my parents. I'm back. Oh my gosh, Xiaoqi, Xiaoming are back. Quick, come here and let Grandpa give you a hug. Step aside. You're covered in cigarette smell and still want to hold the grandkids. My mom carried Xiaoqi, smiling nonstop. Xiaoqi, do you miss Grandma? Xiaoqi spoke in a childish voice. Yes, I do. My dad smiled gently and asked Xiaoming, what about Xiaoming? Do you remember who I am? Yes, you are Grandpa. The words Grandpa made my dad completely thrilled. That's right. My good granddaughter is so smart. Come here, Grandpa will give you pocket money to buy delicious food. Okay? My mom wasn't about to be outdone either, taking out her wallet and handing cash to Xiaoqi. Here, Xiaoqi. Grandma is also giving you pocket money. The two of you go together and buy something delicious to eat. Seeing this, I hurriedly stopped my parents. Mom, Dad, what are you doing? The kids are still small. There's no need for this. Before I could even finish my sentence, Dad glared at me fiercely. It was so hard for my granddaughters to come visit for once. What's wrong with me giving them a little money to buy treats? And as for you, you disappeared for 5 whole years without bringing the grandkids back to visit us even once. Were you planning to wait until I pass away before bringing them back to visit? Oh, my mom also stood beside him, chiming in. Exactly. I still clearly remembered when I first brought the kids back. My parents' expressions were so terrifying back then, looking like they wanted to beat me up. I didn't mean it that way. I was just worried that you two wouldn't like Xiao, Qi, and Xiaoming. Who would have thought that, after a few years, my dad would change his attitude so quickly? Who said that? Who said I don't like Xiaoqi? I'm the one who loves them the most. Xiaoqi, Xiaoming, tell him, am I right, huh? This change made me both amused and touched. Indeed, there was no arguing with Grandpa. I signaled the two little ones with my eyes. Xiaoqi immediately got the hint, taking the bright red bills, and said obediently, thank you, Grandma. Xiaoming also took the money and said in a crisp voice, thank you, Grandpa. You're very welcome, my sweets. Let Grandpa take you guys to pick longans, alright? Would you like that? Yes, please. Watching the figures of the one old and two young fading away, I could only smile helplessly. Mom gently patted my shoulder, her eyes filled with heartache, as she looked at her son who had finally decided to come back home. You must be exhausted, right? Seeing Mom tearing up. My heart softened. Mom, I'm fine. I'm not tired at all. It's just that you must have worried a lot these past few years. Look, Mom, you've got a few more white hairs again. I'm just getting old with age, that's all. As long as you are safe and sound, I'm happy. Mom anxiously asked, how long are you planning to stay this time? Don't be like last time, okay? You barely stayed for a day and a half before vanishing again. I gently shook my head. I won't, Mom. This time I plan to stay for quite a long time. I want to send Xiaoqi and Xiaoming to kindergarten here and take this chance to stay by your side and care for you and Dad. Hearing the news that I would be staying for a long time, Mom was absolutely overjoyed. That's wonderful. That's just wonderful. Tonight, Xiaoqi and Xiaoming, you two stay at home and play with Grandma and Grandpa, okay? The moment she heard that, Xiaoqi, who had just finished her bath and was only wearing little underwear, immediately rushed out from the bathroom. She tightly hugged my leg just as I was about to step out the door. No way Xiaoqi wants to go with Daddy. Xiaoming, who was watching TV, also ran over. I want to follow Daddy too, to prevent me from running off. The two little ones clung to me like two baby bears, their chubby legs wrapped tightly around me without letting go, each hugging one of my legs and just dangling there, seeing the two little girls absolutely insisting on tagging along. I truly felt a headache coming on. But Daddy's going to meet your uncle. And the others, it's going to take a very long time. And I won't be back soon. You guys have to go to bed by 9 p.m. So you can't go, okay? It's fine. If I get sleepy, I'll just sleep in Daddy's arms. Daddy can just go have your fun. Don't worry about Xiaoqi. Xiaoming also said I can too, seeing this scene. My cousin Feng Ingok Din, who was standing at the door, also burst out laughing. Just bring the kids along with you. Look, I'm bringing Yedzilin along too. We're all family anyway. Anyway, it's fine. Seeing my cousin speak up, I could only nod in agreement and say to the two little ones, all right then, you two go put on your clothes and shoes quickly. Daddy will take you guys along. But you absolutely must not run around wildly, okay? Yay, I'm going to change right now. Me too. Watching the two kids scampering back to their room, Wang Ngokding curiously asked, they are so small. Yet they already know how to dress themselves and put on shoes. By themselves? I smiled and nodded. Yes, they've been doing everything by themselves since they were 3. Fang Ngokding couldn't help but be amazed, because her own two kids didn't learn to do those things on their own until they were 5 or 6. In no time, the two little ones were completely ready, properly dressed and running outside. Xiaoqi even grabbed a hair tie herself to tie up her hair, which was originally letting loose. Xiaoming just left her hair natural, as she didn't like tying up her hair at all. Fang Longyi and Fang Yao each drove a car, taking the whole family straight to the KTV in the city center. The siblings hadn't gathered in a long time, happily partying until 2 or 3 a.m. before finally leaving. I carried the fast asleep Xiaoqi in one arm, while holding the hand of Xiaoming, who was still skipping along with the other. The whole group walked while talking and laughing happily. Fang Longyi, with a bit of alcohol in his system, put his arm around my shoulder and whispered, "Xie Yuan, what do you plan to do after coming back this time? Do you want to stay here and build a career together with me?" I smiled and was about to answer, when a furious voice rang out, "You useless bastard, how dare you bring my daughters to a bar? I'm definitely going to settle scores with you." Hearing this all too familiar voice, I raised my head to look. Bai Ningbing, with a gloomy face, was staring intently, her expression looking like she wanted to eat me alive. The relatives walking along with me, hearing her call me out, or rather, hearing her refer to the kids like that, all looked completely dazed and confused, seeing me stepping out from inside with them. Bai Ningbing was so angry that her lungs felt like they were about to explode. She turned her head frantically, searching around, and finally stopped at a roadside flower bed where she found a wooden stick, about the thickness of a thumb. She grabbed it and rushed toward me as if she had gone completely mad. Raised his fist and then rushed in like he'd gone completely mad. Not even caring about the fact that she was wearing high heels, she just rushed straight at me. I let go of Xiao Ming, moving her behind me to protect her, and leaned my body to dodge the stick strike. I immediately launched a high kick, landing right on Bai Ningbing's wrist. Bai Ningbing gasped in pain and the wooden stick fell from her hand, but she reacted incredibly fast. The exact moment the stick dropped, she spun her body and followed up with a back kick right away. The force behind it was powerful, making the wind howl with a whoosh. It's just that these moves in my eyes were no different from a child's playful tantrums. I reached out and caught her ankle cleanly right in midair. Xiao Ming, who was happily holding her bubble tea and drinking it, saw her dad's sharp, decisive moves, and her big round eyes sparkled with sheer admiration. Seeing me neutralize her kick so effortlessly, a flash of shock crossed by Bing's beautiful eyes. "Let go of me right now. I don't need to explain. I didn't bring Xiaoqi and the kids to a bar, I just brought them to a KTV karaoke room. That's all." The moment those words came out, I realized something was off. Hold on, both of these places don't seem to be suitable for kids. As expected, the moment Bai Ningbing heard this, her fury burned even hotter. "Is there any difference? They are so small. Why did you bring them there? What if you got drunk? What if they ran into danger? How would you account for that?" "It was because the kids insisted on tagging along." "Then couldn't you just refuse those places?" I sneered. "Who the hell are you to me to be poking your nose into my business?" "I am," Bai Ningbing almost blurted it out, but slammed the brakes right at the critical moment. Her heated mind suddenly went completely blank. After a long pause, Bai Ningbing finally replied resentfully, "I am the mother of the girls. Since you are their father, you shouldn't bring them to places like that." I let out a faint flat smile. "You say you're their mother, but do you have any proof?" Bai Ningbing was so angry that she grit her teeth audibly. "I gave birth to them. What other proof do I need? Who knows if that's real or fake? If any random woman on the street comes up and claims to be my children's mother, am I supposed to believe them all? Claims to be the mother of my kids, do I have to believe them all?" Looking at my face, knowing I literally acknowledged it yesterday in front of the kids, but am now pulling a completely different attitude, Bai Ningbing felt both furious and aggrieved. "You don't believe me? Huh, fine, I'll take them for a DNA test right now. If they are mine, you must hand them over to me." "No way, I don't have the cash and I don't have the time either." "You lazy bastard, I'll fight you to the death in less than 3 seconds. Bai Ningbing was already pinned against the wall by me with her arms locked, left with absolutely no strength to resist. "Hey, you slacker! Take it easy, go easy on me." Seeing Bai Ningbing getting subdued, her 2 bodyguards immediately surrounded us, planning to make a move. Seeing them step forward, Bai Ningbing furiously barked, "What do you think you're doing? Back off, I'll handle this myself." Receiving a definitive order, those 2 immediately backed far away. Yes, Miss Bai Ningbing was also worried they wouldn't know their own strength if they intervened, and accidentally hurting her daughters would be a complete disaster. "You guy named Fang, let go of me right now. I suddenly asked a completely random question out of nowhere. "You don't wear perfume." Bai Ningbing, who was about to struggle, heard this and thought I was saying she had a weird odor, making her even more enraged. "Wear what? Why would I need that stuff? It's indeed unnecessary," I said. "I'm letting you go, so stop causing a scene. Xiaoqi is sleeping. Do you want to wake her?" Hearing that her daughter was asleep, the struggling Bai Ningbing instantly calmed down, gently glancing at Xiaoqi, who was resting on my shoulder. But then she noticed Xiaoming standing nearby, blinking and staring right at her. She grit her teeth. Fine, you. Let go of me. I won't make a scene anymore. Getting her answer, I also let out a sigh of relief, only fearing this woman would go crazy again. Just as I was about to loosen my grip, I suddenly noticed something. A sense of danger spread across my entire body. Bai Ningbing thought she was about to be released and was busy plotting her revenge on this lazy guy, only to be unexpectedly pinned even harder against the wall by me. You bastard, are you addicted to playing around with me? Believe it or not, before she could finish her threat, I pressed tightly against her back and whispered in her ear, idiot. Don't struggle blindly. You've been targeted by someone. What did you say? I won't believe your lies. Let me go right now. Otherwise, once I break free, I will definitely. Bai Ningbing was still trying to act tough with her threats, but when she saw the hidden meaning in my eyes, she immediately shut her mouth. The two of us exchanged glances, and Bai Ningbing understood my point almost instantly. I scolded her while pushing her aside, stepping back to clear a straight path to her car. You stupid woman. Get the hell away from me. If you dare come bother me again, I won't go easy on you. Bai Ningbing rubbed her wrist that had been hurting from my grip, cursing at me while walking toward her car. You lazy bastard, just you wait. I won't let you off the hook. Absolutely never. Just you wait and see. At this moment, the guys who had been tailing Bai Ningbing's side finally reacted. Not good, she's trying to escape, get her. Those thugs immediately surrounded the area. But unfortunately, Bai Ningbing was already right next to her car door. Seeing them surrounding her, her face darkened slightly. She immediately got into the car and told the driver, quick, head to the company right now. Seeing that Bai Ningbing had escaped, the leader's face fell. Chow her quick, it was so hard to wait for her to leave the Bai family's territory. And she didn't bring many bodyguards with her either. This time, we must capture her. After that, they started advancing toward me. I didn't panic at all, only handing the sleeping Xiao Qi over to Fang Yao. Sis, you take. Xiao. Qi and the kids back first. I have some business to handle. Longi, you head back first too. Hey kid, what's your relationship with that woman? Spit it out honestly right now. Otherwise, I'll take care of you. I waved my hand against the foul air, the corner of my mouth curling into a smile. What relationship? What else could it be? The blonde guy was stunned for a moment, but then he figured it out. He pulled a dagger from his waist, held it up to my face, and barked, you brat, do you want to bring trouble upon yourself? How dare you mess with me? Do you even know who she is? You didn't even look in the mirror to check your own face, did you? You aren't even worthy of carrying her shoes. With a sincere face, I replied, it's true that I'm very close to her, but I don't have the habit of carrying shoes. I only like head-on confrontations. The blonde guy was completely speechless after hearing this. He was so angry that he laughed. You brat, how dare you play with us? Now I'm going to shut your mouth to see if you still dare to spout nonsense. Half a minute later, I made a phone call to someone. Hello, old Xiao. From the other end of the line, a voice came through. I'm truly done with you. Can you please not always call me at this hour? It was so hard for me to visit home for once. Spit it out, what do you want from me? I glanced at the guys who were barely breathing on the ground. I don't need anything, it's just that there are a few guys who wanted to touch me, so I taught them an unforgettable lesson. Send someone over to clean up the scene. And by the way, don't let these guys appear in Guisheng anymore. Alright, just leave this matter to me. I'll send someone to handle it. Rest assured. I bought a bottle of soda by the roadside, and before I could open it, my phone rang again. I thought it was old Xiao calling back, so I picked up without looking at the screen. Old Xiao, are things done on your end? A gentle, yet incredibly cold voice rang out. Who is old Xiao? My heart skipped a beat, because I could recognize that. The owner of this voice was none other than Bai Ning. Bing. I calmed down. How did you get my phone number? Seemingly displeased by my interrogation, Bai Ningbing rolled her eyes on the other end of the line. What does that have to do with me? I pouted. This woman was still exactly the same as 5 years ago, loving to pick a fight over nothing. I just asked a random question, yet she acted like she wanted to eat me. Alive, both of us tacitly remained silent, and neither said another word. This quiet atmosphere lasted for a moment, and both of us spoke up almost at the exact same time. Asking the same question, are you alright? The words just came out, and both of our expressions froze at the same time. Again, we tacitly fell into silence. In the end, it was still me who broke this awkward atmosphere. What's up? Are you worried about me when saying this? The corner of my mouth curled up slightly with pride. Who? Who cares about you? You slacker, you're still as shameless as ever and even narcissistic. 2. I only hope something bad happens to you soon. Best if you disappear right now, so that my daughters will completely belong to me. Her words were scolding like that, but on the other end. The line by Ningbing's beautiful face unconsciously blushed with a soft pink hue. I pursed my lips slightly, casually saying, if you want children, it's simple. Just give birth to another one and isn't that settled? It's not like you can't give birth plus not letting the kids bother your life. Wouldn't that be better? A single mother raising 2 kids will find it harder to get married than a woman who hasn't. been tied down by anything yet. By Ning. Bing didn't say anything. Only after a long while did she speak up. I just don't want my daughters to suffer with you. As for whether you live or disappear, I don't care. You had better disappear into some corner and return the kids to me. You were the one who abandoned the kids first. My gaze gradually turned cold, a hint of sadness flashing across my face. Isn't Xiaoqi your ultimate shame? Didn't you originally not care about them at all? Why are you demanding them now? Are you really not planning to let them go? Bai Ningbing was stunned. When did I say my daughters were my shame? Since when did I not care about them? The words she said made me instantly calm down. I frowned and asked, isn't that so? At first you said you didn't want the kids, but that was just angry talk. Back then. At that time, I wasn't ready to accept the truth. But why would I look at my own children as a shame? No matter how much I hate you, no matter how much I resent you, what does that have to do with the kids? At that time, I temporarily couldn't accept it, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't accept them for the rest of my life. Bai Ningbing let out a heavy sigh, trying hard to suppress her agitated emotions. By the time I started learning how to accept and care, how could I have known that? You would actually take the kids and vanish just like that. I silently finished, the soda in my hand. I could feel that. Everything she said came straight from the bottom of her heart. Hey you, lazy slacker, are you even listening to me? Give the kids back to me right now. You can ask for any condition, money, cars, status, power, or a high-paying, easy job in the future. Anything goes. Hearing Bai Ning, Bing's voice getting a bit hoarse with tears. My voice remained completely calm. No need. If my daughters willingly go with you, I won't stop them. But if you dare use those underhanded tricks to force them to follow you, or hurt them because of your own selfishness, Bai Ning, Bing, I'll make sure you pay, no matter the cost. After saying that, I hung up the phone and blocked her number right away. On the other end of the line, Bai Ningbing stood dazed, listening to the lifeless dial tone. It took her a long time to finally snap out of it, not until she suddenly shivered, feeling a chill down her spine. Did she finally react? That annoying jerk. How dare he threaten me? Wait, why did that ordinary nobody speak to me like that? The more she thought about it, the more off it felt. Bai Ningbing dialed a number. Hello? Track down Fang Yuan's location for me. Right this instant, hurry up. Under the massive banyan tree at the commercial market street. Xiaoming, didn't you guys go back to sleep already? We just got here. I stared blankly at the little girl sitting on the bench. Xiaoqi was chewing on a duck foot, her mouth covered in grease, while Xiaoming was holding a grilled rib, happily munching away. Seeing me arrive, Xiaoqi excitedly waved at me, still holding the half-eaten duck foot in her hand. She jumped down from the bench and rushed straight into my arms, with quick eyes and fast hands. I caught Xiaoqi as she lunged forward, wiping her greasy little face while I was at it. Fang Yao stood to the side, saying helplessly, Xiaoqi just woke up, complaining that she was hungry. So I brought the two little ones over here. Xiaoming held up the grilled rib, her greasy, shiny little mouth. Arguing back, I can prove that she was the hungry one. Not me, okay. I gently flicked Xiaoming's forehead with my finger, smiling helplessly. You're not any better than your sister. Seriously, you two are just bottomless pits. Xiaoqi, completely unfazed, hugged my neck and continued to munch on that duck foot. Fang Longyu spoke up and asked, Fang Yuan, was that woman from earlier really the kid's mother? I didn't even bother to hide it anymore. She had already tracked me down to my doorstep, so even if I wanted to hide it, I couldn't. I nodded. Yeah, that's right, Fang. Longyi couldn't help but give a thumbs up and laugh. Pretty impressive. Man, suck a rich. An ultimate beauty got conquered by you. That is seriously top-tier badass. Whoa. The corner of my mouth twitched. Conquered her, forget it. Conquering the entire world is easier than dealing with that woman. So did Xiaoming's mom come back this time? Planning to take you and the kids back? No, she only wants to take Xiaoming away. If Xiaoming willingly wants to go with her, I won't stop it. But if she dares use force to snatch them, even if I have to pay a heavy price, I will make her regret it. Right at this moment, a cold yet clear voice rang out. Who exactly are you planning to make regret it? I turned my head around to look. Bai Ningbing, with a deadpan icy face, was standing right behind me. Why are you here, Bai Ning? Bing still kept her habit of speaking sharply. I just came to see if anything bad happened to you yet. If something happened to me, you wouldn't be having peace either. Seeing Xiaoqi munching on the duck foot, while using her curious eyes to observe her, the icy expression on Bai Ningbing's face instantly vanished in a split second. 897. Her gaze became incredibly gentle as she looked at Xiaoming and Xiao. Her gaze became gentle as she looked at Xiaoming and Xiao. Qi. She wanted to reach out and caress Xiaoqi's face, but Xiaoqi instinctively shrank deeper into my chest, her curious gaze suddenly turning timid. Xiaoming was much quicker, spinning around and lunging straight into her aunt's arms, leaving Bai Ningbing with absolutely no chance to get close. Bai Ningbing silently withdrew her hand. She looked over at me and said, "Come back with me." I slightly lowered my gaze gently patting Xiaoqi's head, and asked back, go back where? Back to that small town and mountain city. I'll provide you guys with a house, a car, and give you 10 million every month for living expenses. The moment those words came out, Bang Longji and the others instantly widened their eyes. Good lord, does she really need to be this straightforward? I pouted. I don't need it. Don't you want your daughters to have a better life? Even if you don't think about yourself, you must think about the kids. You know it well, the things you can't give them, I can give to Xiaoqi and Xiaoming. Everything. Xiaoqi, Xiaoming, do you guys feel like your current life isn't good? Xiaoqi's big jet black eyes rolled back and forth. She pursed her lips and laughed. I think it's great. As long as I can be with daddy, I'm happy. Xiaoming said quite bluntly, having enough food and warm clothes, and having daddy by our side, that is the most wonderful thing. I impolitely showed her the door. All right, you can leave now. Bai Ningbing fell silent for a while, and finally asked about the thoughts in her heart. Do you hate me? Or are you afraid I'll harm our daughters? Both. Reasons, actually. But I have never harmed my children, let alone ever having such a thought. Why could you say such things? I just blurted it out casually. Bai Ningbing shook her head. You aren't that kind of person. Once you've said it, it proves that something must have happened. Can you tell me? I want to know the reason. I fell silent. For a moment, then calmly said, because 5 years ago, you ordered someone to harm me and the kids. That's why I don't trust you, and I will also never hand over the kids to you. Bai Ning. Bing froze right on the spot. I ordered someone to harm you and the kids. How could that even be possible? My voice gradually grew colder. Why wouldn't it be? Didn't you hate me to the core? You thought that this kids and I ruined your entire life after all. After saying that, I turned around and walked away without looking back. I hate you, but I wouldn't go as far as harming you. Bai Ningbing muttered to herself. It seemed like she had realized something, a furious expression showing clearly on her face. Those bastards. How dare they touch my daughters? Because she had thought of a possibility that she didn't want to believe. But that definitely could have happened. As several days passed, I didn't see Bai Ningbing coming to find me anymore. I highly hoped that she had given up on the idea of taking Xiaoming away and had also let go of my life. Mom Fang waved her hand in front of my eyes. Xie Yuan, have you thought through what I just said yet? Only then did I snap out of it. Huh, Mom? What did you tell me to think through? The blind date thing, what else could it be? I stared blankly at her. Since when did this matter fall on my head? What blind date and with whom? Mom Fang looked completely speechless. Turns out your aunt and I have been talking all this time, but not a single word entered your head, huh, Wang Chu? Fang smiled and explained. Well, my place has a girl who works as a university lecturer and still doesn't have a boyfriend yet. So I'm planning to introduce her to you. Hearing that, I got a bit of a headache and massaged my temples. Auntie, right now I don't want to. Think about this. I have no interest in that stuff. Besides, I already have daughters. Why go on a blind date? 990 just to bring trouble upon myself. Do anything anymore, it just brings more suffering. Wouldn't that just be leading her on? Because you have kids, you need to get married even sooner. Do you want Xiaoming and Xiaoqi to grow up without a mother forever? I let out a bitter laugh. Mom, think about it. How many women would accept a man bringing his kids along to a blind date? And how many would accept the fact that I already have children of my own? Mom Fang persuaded. If you don't try, how would you know? Who knows, maybe that girl would be willing to accept a little one since the mother of the kids doesn't want to get married. To you anyway, why do you have to keep suffering? For someone like that, the corner of my mouth twitched. So I should suffer for a few more people, just to see whose suffering is more comfortable, Mom. Mom Fang lightly tapped my head. Annoyed, you brat, why are you speaking like that, huh? I've met that girl a few times. She's a very good girl. If you dare not go, I will commit suicide right in front of you. I was truly speechless, using her own life to threaten someone. Mom is really next level. All right. I'll go, okay, I'll go. I had to admit Wang Chu. Feng was a very decisive person. Right after speaking, she sent her contact info over to me. I glanced at it, my brows furrowing slightly. Why does this person already have my contact info? If she already has your number, it proves that you two might have known each other before. That's fine too, even if things don't work out between you two. You can just look at it as reconnecting with an old friend. I got it. Auntie, drive carefully on your way home. At a coffee shop, since I was forced to go on a blind date, I could only sit helplessly in a secluded corner. Right at that moment, a voice full of shock rang out. Xie Yuan, why is it you? I looked up and saw Yanni rushing over with a completely stunned face. At the same time, next to her was another woman, who didn't look too bad either. She was wearing a pair of black-rimmed glasses. That woman was also full of shock. You two know each other? Yanni never in a million years expected that the person she was on a blind date with would actually be Fang Yuan. In stark contrast to her, Shock and joy. I appeared completely casual, only smiling faintly, and spoke up to greet her. Long time no see. It really has been a very long time since we last met. Yayani and that other woman sat down, introducing her colleague along the way. Zhao Huahua. I nodded to greet her. Hello. Yayani softly asked, how have you been lately? Pretty good, and you? I'm doing well too. After a few polite small talk sentences, both of them fell into silence. These two friends who were once practically attached at the hip, meeting again after 5 years, seemed to no longer have too many topics to discuss with each other. Fortunately, Zhao Hua proactively spoke up first. All right, since you two already know each other and ended up on a blind date like this, let's just follow the standard procedure, shall we? I'm fine with anything, agreed. But Yayani seemed to hesitate, looking like she wanted to say something. In reality, when she saw that her blind date was me, she already didn't care about anything else anymore, nor did she want to make any demands. Since, Yani was too shy to ask, Zhao Huahua asked on her behalf, do you have a car and a house yet? I don't have a car yet, but as for a house, I have one in the city center of Gicheng. Hearing that, Zhao Huahua, with a bit of disappointment, said, Gicheng city center. How can the housing prices there compare? To hear, Yayani quickly spoke up from the side to help me out. That's already very good for Xia Yuan to be able to buy a house by himself. At this age is already impressive. However, my next sentence made Zhao Huahua knit her brows. Though that house is currently for my parents to live in, I only go back there to stay. Occasionally, Zhao Huahua's face immediately showed clear dissatisfaction. Huh, you also have to live with your parents. In contrast, Yayani said, it's fine, I don't mind that. Living close by makes it convenient to take care of the elders, which is actually great. Hearing this sentence, Zhao Huahua's eyes almost popped out of her skull. She looked at Yayani in disbelief. Hey, are you serious, girl? You can actually tolerate something like this. Then why didn't you agree to the guy from last time who had his own 3-bedroom house? 1103. To these words, I obviously didn't care. As for these words, of course, I didn't care at all. I have only one requirement. If you can accept it, we can... Seeing that I even made a condition, Zhao Huahua. Her eyes looked like they were about to roll back into the sky. Hey, mister, what conditions could you possibly have? She's the one who has the right to set conditions. Not you. But Yani really didn't care. She only cared about whether she and I could get back to how things were in the past. She used to be the bright moonlight in my heart. And how could I not be the bright moonlight in hers? Her eyes suddenly lit up, trying hard to suppress the stirrings inside her. Then tell me, what is that condition? I already have daughters. In another development, Xiaoqi was squatting in front of a large golden rabbit. Good bunny, come here, sister will give you a carrot. Suddenly, a red Wuling stopped right in front of the villa area's gate. Xiaoming raised her eyes to look. A woman with an exquisite face and a haughty, noble aura stepped down from the car. Xiaoming's little head tilted to one side, her big round eyes blinking. Oh, it's mommy. Xiao. Ming didn't say a word, just lowered her head to keep feeding the rabbit. Hearing her daughter call her mommy, Bai Ningbing originally didn't have any mental preparation. As she stepped down from the car, her footsteps suddenly stumbled. After that, she quickly walked over, her eyes full of deep emotion and love. The icy look on her face melted into pure gentleness. Xiaoqi, what did you just call me, Xiaoqi? Looked puzzled, staring into the eyes that were currently turning red of Bai Ningbing. The little girl tightly hugged her plush bunny and said, Mommy, could it be that? You're not my mommy, but I remember Daddy said, you're Xiaoqi's mommy. Before she could finish her sentence, she was pulled into a tight embrace by Bai Ningbing. Even the little girl, who was planning to sneak away next to them, was also pulled into her arms. Mommy is sorry, Xiaoqi. Xiaoming, Mommy is sorry. It's all Mommy's fault. It's all Mommy's fault, Xiaoqi raised her tiny hand. Just like how she usually wiped away tears for Daddy, wiping away the tears from the corners of Bai Ningbing's eyes, smiling to comfort her. Mommy, don't cry anymore. Xiaoqi understands. Daddy told me before that it's not that Mommy doesn't want Xiaoqi anymore, but because Mommy was just busy with her own business, so Mommy couldn't come find me yet. Now that Mommy has come to find me, does it mean Mommy's work is all done? Xiaoming, on the other hand, didn't have any reaction at all, even acting a bit distant. Bai Ningbing felt the warmth from the tiny hand on her cheek. Hearing her daughter's heart-wrenchingly innocent words, she laughed through her tears and choked out a reply. Yes, Mommy has finished her work, so will Xiaoqi. And Xiaoming come home with Mommy, faced with the motherly love she had long desired and yearned for all this time. Xiaoqi shook her head instead and said, No, Xiaoqi, cannot go with Mommy. Bai Ningbing froze and asked, Why my babies? Please come home with Mommy. Mommy will prepare a huge house for you guys, and each of you will have your own room, as long as it's something you want. Mommy will buy it all for you, okay? Xiaoming's sudden question instantly made Bai Ningbing freeze in her tracks. Then what about Daddy? Bai Ningbing stared blankly at the two little ones, a complex look appearing in her beautiful eyes. For a moment, she didn't know what to say. Xiaoqi nodded and asked further. Mommy, do you really not like Daddy? Is that why you don't want to take Daddy along with us? Bai Ningbing bit her red lips gently. In truth, she didn't know how to face him. Xiaoqi pouted her lips and continued, if Mommy doesn't like Daddy and doesn't want to live with Daddy anymore, then we can't go back with Mommy either. We have to stay by Daddy's side. Bai Ningbing forced a smile that looked sadder than crying, feeling a bit unwilling to accept this. Why, Xiaoqi Xiaoming, don't you guys miss Mommy? Don't you want to live with Mommy? Xiaoqi blinked her big round eyes, then sincerely said, I miss you a lot. But Xiaoqi can't bear to be away from Daddy either. I don't want to leave Daddy. I can't bear to leave Daddy all alone. And I will never ever abandon Daddy. Bai Ningbing now understood her daughter's point. She didn't want to make the two little ones sad. Almost in an instant, she made up her mind. Then Xiaoqi, where is Daddy? Where did your daddy go? Her daughter's reply left her completely stunned. Daddy went to find a new mommy for Xiaoqi. Xiaoqi, what did you just say? Who did your daddy go to find? Xiaoming chimed in from the side. Grandma said Daddy went to find a new mommy for us. Right now, Daddy is meeting with that new mommy. Bai Ningbing was so furious her teeth ground together. Their real mom is right here, but you don't want her. You just have to find a stepmother for my children, huh? Then Xiaoqi and Xiaoming, do you guys know where Daddy is? We do. He's at the milk tea shop. Daddy told us he'd buy some milk tea. 1,219. And bring it back for us later. On the other side, Sister Huahua's scream. Back to us, from the other side, Sister Huahua's scream almost brought the ceiling down. What, you already have daughters? Yayani looked at me with an expression of pure disbelief. Her hands clenched so tightly that her nails dug into her skin. What did you just say? I have 2 daughters. They are both already 5 years old. Zhao. Huahua, with her hot temper, immediately pulled Yayani up. She glared at me with deep disgust, then threw out a heavy sarcastic remark. No car, living with parents, unemployed and dragging 2 kids along, yet you still dare to go on a blind date. I could only shrug my shoulders, faced with her ridiculing. I didn't even bother to talk back. Daughters. He already has children, and they're already 5 years old on top of that. There are actually 2 of them. Yayani couldn't accept this reality, her face gradually turning pale. Zhao Huahua angrily continued, Yani, let's go. Don't waste your time on this loser. Who knows, maybe his kids were just picked up from the trash. Yet he treats them like treasures in a castle, and even expects you to be their stepmother. Right at this moment, an icy voice rang out, have you said enough? I was just about to retaliate but suddenly froze. My eyes shifted toward the person standing behind Zhao Huahua. Why did you come here? Zhao Huahua and Yayani were also startled. When both of them turned their heads around, they saw a beauty in a luxurious business suit holding a little girl's hand standing, tall right behind them, with just a single icy glance. 1,257 Bai Ningbing's powerful aura and majesty. The powerful aura and majesty of Bai Ningbing made someone who was just aggressively shouting like Zhao Hua instantly shut her mouth. Immediately, she didn't dare to utter another word. She unconsciously took a step back, hiding behind Yayani's back before finally daring to ask, who are you? Xiaoqi and Xiaoming let go of Bai Ningbing's hands and rushed straight into my arms. Daddy, and then right after that, Bai Ningbing's words made Zhao Huahua's entire body freeze up even more. I am exactly the person you just mentioned, the mother who abandoned her children. You said my daughters were picked up from the trash. Then are you implying that I intentionally threw my own children away? Facing Bai Ningbing's overwhelming pressure, Zhao Huahua, who was just arrogant a moment ago, instantly became weak. Bai Ningbing didn't even bother to glance at her. She brushed past the 2 of them and walked straight toward me. As soon as she opened her mouth, she shocked everyone by telling me to go back. As long as you agree, the conditions will be set by me. A 3.5-story villa spanning 300 square meters. Cars worth under 20 million yuan. Pick any 10 you want. A monthly living allowance of 30 million yuan. Zhao Huahua's face, which was waiting to watch a drama, instantly froze. Recalling the words she had just said earlier, she wished she could find a hole to crawl into. Bai Ningbing didn't care about those people at all. Her eyes were locked on me the entire time. What do you think, Yin Yik? I didn't answer her question, only casually said one thing. You're still exactly the same as you were in the past. Still loving to use money to crush others. Regarding this matter, Bai Ningbing didn't deny it at all. There's no other way, since making money is too easy for me. If a problem can be solved with money, then why bother wasting so much mental energy? Spending tens of millions a month to support a guy you look down on. Especially a useless loser who can't achieve anything. You really do have a lot of money. Do you think money can buy everything? I don't think so, but I know one thing for sure. Everyone has their own price. If you can't buy something, it's just because the price you offered isn't high enough. That's all. I want to see if I can use money to make you submit. Surely. That would be very interesting, looking at Bai Ningbing's high and mighty attitude along with that. extremely determined tone. I let out a scoff, then glared sideways at her, not even bothering to waste my breath on her, and just led my two daughters away. Just as my feet were about to step out the door, Bai Ningbing's voice rang out again, demanding to talk. If you don't make things clear, I won't mind the trouble of tracking you and the kids down forever. No matter where you guys hide, I will find you at all costs. Do you really want to drag the kids into hiding for the rest of your life? Bai Ningbing's icy words made me freeze in my tracks. I turned my head back and sarcastically shot back. Since when did you learn how to threaten other people, huh? There's no other way who told a guy like you to be so uncooperative. Using forceful methods doesn't work either. You can choose to lead the kids away right now, but what I just said, I will absolutely make happen. I fell silent for a brief moment, then turned my head back, leaving behind a calm reply. There's a hotel nearby. Let's go there and talk. Seeing that this stubborn guy finally showed signs of budging, 1338 Bai Ningbing also secretly breathed a sigh of relief. In her heart, Bai Ningbing also secretly breathed a sigh of relief. She nodded her head and followed along. Behind, looking at my retreating back, Yayani's eyes were full of complex emotions. Over these past few years, just what kind of things did you have to go through? Why did everything turn out like this? No, yeah. I bought each of the two little ones a cup of mango pomelo sago and then rented an hourly room at a hotel. Then again, for a big CEO like you, to go rent a room with an ordinary guy like me. Aren't you afraid that if this gets leaked out, it will ruin your reputation? Bai Ningbing glanced at me, knowing that I was still holding a grudge over the events of a few years ago. She immediately fired back. My reputation was already ruined by you. A few years ago anyway. With nothing left to lose. What difference does it make if it gets a bit worse? I don't even care. So, basically no matter which man rents a room with you, you wouldn't mind. Right, my words left Bai Ningbing choked up with rage. If it weren't for the fact that I was holding our two kids, she definitely would have rushed over to beat me up. Being able to make this woman furious gave me a strange, sudden sense of satisfaction. Alright, what do you want to talk about? Once you're done, hurry up and leave. Don't come disturb me and the kids again. Xiaoqi. Why? Bai Ningbing slightly frowned. Do you really detest me that much? I shot back a question. Shouldn't I detest you? Realizing that, when it came to arguing with me, the loser was always herself. Bai Ningbing didn't continue to bicker about that matter anymore, but cut straight to the chase. Just tell me, what conditions do you need to let our daughters return to my side? Without even a bit of hesitation, I replied, there are no conditions. And I don't want to let Xiaoqi and Xiaoming go back to your side either. Bai Ningbing let out a soft sigh. I know what you're worried about. Whether you believe it or not, I really have never harmed you and the kids, nor have I ever used any underhanded tricks against you two. In fact, if you hadn't mentioned it back then, I wouldn't have even known that those things had happened. Yet, whether you knew or not makes no difference. Whether it was done by you or not doesn't even matter anymore. Even if those things weren't done by you, the fact that you were completely unaware doesn't mean you can just dodge the responsibility. So this is the real reason why you've been avoiding me all these years. The reason isn't because you hate me and only wanted revenge, which is why you took the kids and hid for so long. Who said I don't hate you? Isn't a woman like you totally detestable, both stupid and annoying and constantly putting on that icy face all day long? Normally you can't even take good care of yourself, yet you still expect to take care of our daughters. Stop daydreaming. She gently rubbed her slightly aching temples. All right. Just think of it as you hating me and that I'm stupid. Fine. Just give me a little time. I will go investigate everything that happened 5 years ago clearly. I will give you a proper explanation before that time comes. Please come back to Shansheng Town with me. On what grounds? Exactly. On the grounds that if you don't come back with me, then I will cling to you forever and never let go. In any case, now that I've found you, you can choose to keep running away, and at worst, I will just keep chasing you. Right now, you either come back to Shansheng Town with me, so I can take care of you and the kids for a while, with all the previous conditions remaining unchanged, and wait until I've cleared up the investigation. Then whether you want to leave or stay will be entirely up to you. Or you can just keep running and I'll just keep chasing you. At worst, I'll just chase you 3 around for another 5 to 8 years, unless you vanish from this world. Otherwise, you can forget about having a single day of peace for the rest of your life. This time, it was my turn to grind my teeth. Can you be a little less unreasonable? Bai Ningbing had also made up her mind. What a total fool. 6 years ago, you got played by a girl like me and ended up losing absolutely everything. If you refuse to come back with me, do you believe that I will announce to the whole world that you are my husband? Do you still expect to live in peace? How could you? Throughout the following month, I finally truly understood the sheer stubbornness and relentless clinginess of this woman. Whenever she had free time, Bai Ningbing would rush over from Guangzhou City, Guangdong, whether it was 12 noon or 3 or 4 in the morning. As for Xiaoqi and her sister, They also played very happily with the mother whom they had never met since the moment they were born. In the end, I still agreed to go with Bai Ningbing back to Shancheng town to live for a while. After nearly 6 hours of sitting in the car, after 5 years of separation, I finally returned to Shancheng town. Alright, in this building, you live on the 17th floor, and I live on the 18th floor. I won't interfere with your life. But there is one condition. Don't bring another man home to celebrate the new year, and absolutely do not let our daughter see any inappropriate scenes. If you find someone you like, just let me know. Money, cars, and houses, I will fully prepare them all, so you can radiantly step into the wedding car. But when that time comes, I must fight for custody of our daughters, and you cannot object. 3 black lines immediately appeared on my forehead. I am a man. What if you force me into a matrilocal marriage instead? After more than a month of living together again, Bai Ningbing had gotten used to bickering with me. If she didn't bicker with me for a bit, she would feel uncomfortable inside. I rolled my eyes at this woman. Bai Ningbing took a bunch of car keys out from the handbag she carried with her, along with 2 bank cards, and placed them in front of me. Take these cards. I already told you, what are you giving me these for? I don't need them. Besides, the market is right nearby. They have everything there and I'm not going anywhere far anyway. Bai Ningbing glared at me. Even if you go to the market, you must drive my car to go there. Don't embarrass me. Don't cook dinner tonight. I'll be back later to take our daughters out to eat. After saying that, Bai Ningbing turned around to leave. Seeing her mother about to leave, Xiaoqi anxiously asked, Mommy, where are you going? Aren't you staying with Xiaoqi and Daddy? Hearing her daughter's voice, Bai Ningbing turned around and reached out to rub Xiaoqi's head, a gentle and doting expression appearing on her beautiful face. Xiaoqi, be good. Mommy isn't going anywhere. Mommy's just going to do a bit of work. Mommy will be back tonight, so Xiaoqi, be good and wait for Mommy, okay? Mommy will take you out for delicious food, alright? Xiaoqi obediently nodded her head. Then Mommy drives safely. Okay, Xiaoqi will wait for Mommy to come back. Xiaoming, you too. Bai Ningbing dotingly pinched the adorable cheeks of the 2 little ones, then turned around to get in the car. Xiao Ming didn't say anything, but he also waved his hand to say goodbye to her. I faintly heard this woman as she closed the car door, muttering and complaining to herself. What a bunch of useless losers, rushing me. Rushing me? What the hell are you rushing me for? Without me, you guys can't get anything done, right? Sooner or later, I'm going to fire all of you. Hearing Bai Ningbing's grumbling and watching her figure as she drove away, the corner of my mouth twitched. When did this stupid woman learn my habit of swearing? Didn't she used to hate foul language the most? Daddy, are we going to live with Mommy from today on? Oi. Yeah. I nodded slightly. I guess you could say that. At least from now on, if Xiaoqi wants to see Mommy, it will be very easy. Xiaoqi blinked her big round eyes. But even though we get to live with Mommy, why do I feel like Daddy doesn't look very happy? I rubbed her head, forcing a smile onto my face. No, I'm not. Alright, Xiaoqi, Xiaoming. Let's go up and check out our new home. Later, Daddy will take you guys out to play around here. We'll probably have to stay here for a while in the future. I led Xiaoqi and Xiaoming to the apartment where Bai Ningbing used to stay. Xiaoqi, Xiaoming, you two sleep in this big room, okay? Xiaoqi looked up and asked, what about Daddy then? Where will you sleep? Daddy will sleep in the room next door. Xiaoqi grabbed my hand, pouted her cheeks and said, Xiaoqi wants to sleep with Daddy. Xiaoming also grabbed my other hand. Xiaoming does too. I smiled helplessly. No, you can't. You guys are big now, so you must learn to sleep on your own. Didn't you both used to sleep on your own before? That was because Daddy never came home. Xiaoqi's aggrieved words made my heart melt. Alright, but you guys have to promise Daddy. Once you enter elementary school, you must sleep on your own, okay? 8 p.m. Bai Corporation. Bai Ningbing was half reclining in her office chair, her fair, slender hand rubbing her temples, the exhaustion on her face completely obvious. Alright, time to go back and take my daughters out to eat. When Xiao Nuan walked in, CEO Bai, do you have any instructions? While packing up her things, Bai Ningbing said, I won't be returning to the family mansion tonight. Tell Xiao Chen and the others not to wait for me. I can just drive back myself. When Xiao Nuan hesitated a bit, but CEO Bai, the chairman, said, you're coming home for dinner today. You haven't been back home for almost a month now. The chairman and everyone are very worried about you. They specifically told me to make sure you return today, saying that there's an honored guest at home who wants to meet you. Bai Ningbing's movements paused slightly, her delicate eyebrows furrowing deeply. Decline it for me. Just say that I have urgent business and can't make it back. I'll return later when I'm free. After saying that, Bai Ningbing hurriedly left. When Xiao Nuan opened her mouth, wanting to say something, but in the end, she didn't say it. She could only smile bitterly. Just as Bai Ningbing took the elevator down to the first floor, and before she could even step out the main door, a deep, warm voice suddenly rang out, Ning Bing. Bai Ningbing looked toward the source of the voice. Guyu. Guyu walked up to Bai Ningbing, handing the large bouquet of roses in his hand to her. For you, your favorite flower. Bai Ningbing didn't even reach out to take the bouquet, only coldly saying, "I don't like roses anymore. They have too many thorns." It's easy to get pricked. Facing Bai Ningbing's rejection, Guyu didn't feel too surprised. Ever since that incident 5 years ago, Bai Ningbing had never spoken nicely to him. "Then what kind of flowers do you like? Let me go buy them for you." "I don't like any flowers. Get out of my way. I have business to attend to." Bai Ningbing hurriedly brushed past Guyu without even giving him a single glance. "Do you really not want to see me that much?" Guyu suddenly called out loudly, his deep warm voice trembling slightly. He intended to reach out and grab her arm, wanting her to stay, but the moment he touched her, Bai Ningbing immediately shook his hand off forcefully and coldly, glancing at him as she uttered a sentence that made Guyu shudder. "Gu, you don't force me to truly hate you. If you still dare to disturb me, I will make you lie down for the rest of your life and never be able to stand up again. Go." You didn't expect that. The current Bai Ningbing would actually talk to him like this. But up until today, seeing that her fury was triggered simply by his appearance, Guyu's gaze gradually turned gloomy, watching Bai Ningbing's figure as she hurriedly left. Guyu tightly pursed his thin lips and muttered to himself, "Ningbing, is it really impossible for us to go back to how things were in the past? Do you really loathe me this much now? Just because of that sentence I said back then?" By the time Bai Ningbing returned from Guangzhou to Shanqing town, it was already almost 9 p.m. Looking at her two daughters who were so sleepy from waiting, along with my less than happy expression, she, who was originally a cold person who never explained herself, let out an awkward forced smile, seemingly wanting to justify her late return. "There was a bit too much work at the company, plus traffic was a bit jammed, so I got back late." The moment those words came out, Bai Ningbing suddenly realized, why on earth was she explaining herself to this slacker? "I came back to take my daughters out to eat. What does it have to do with him?" Before she could even lose her temper, my next sentence made her freeze in her tracks. "Are you planning to wear that outfit to go out to eat with our daughters?" Bai Ningbing looked down at the business suit she was wearing, her delicate eyebrows furrowing slightly. "Is there a problem?" "No, let's go. Where are we eating? I'll guide you guys there." "All right, let's go have a big feast." Leading one adult and two kids, Bai Ningbing drove to a seafood restaurant. "Now Xiaoqi, Xiaoming, order whatever you want to eat, okay?" Probably worried that the kids couldn't read the words Bai Ning, Bing added another sentence. "Whatever looks delicious to you guys in the pictures. Just order that one." Unexpectedly, Xiaoqi turned around and handed the menu to me. "Daddy, you order first. What do you like to eat?" Seeing our daughter favor me like that, Bai Ningbing's rosy lips pouted, her eyes filled with absolute dissatisfaction. I dotingly rubbed Xiaoqi's head, ordering a few dishes that were all the two little ones' favorites, then handed the menu back to Xiaoqi. Xiaoqi held the menu book, which was almost as big as her whole body, looked at it for a while, and then handed it to Bai Ningbing. "Mommy, you order. Daddy already ordered everything Xiaoqi likes to eat." "All right." Bai Ningbing immediately ordered a whole table of dishes. Looking at it, my eyelids twitched repeatedly. I had just looked through this menu, and the prices were not cheap at all. But thinking about this woman's status, along with her ability to make money like water, I also felt relieved. I originally really liked eating seafood, before for a massive seafood feast. I had spent all the money I earned during half a summer break to buy seafood, bringing it home to cook a sumptuous meal to reward myself. Perhaps the two little ones had inherited my love for eating seafood, as they had also really liked eating seafood since they were small. Xiaoqi and her sister, whether it was peeling shrimp or cracking crab shells, were very skilled. So much so that Bai Ningbing had specifically ordered a few unpeeled dishes, wanting to peel shrimp for our daughters to experience that feeling. The result was that our daughters peeled shrimp even more skillfully than her, not needing her help at all. Daddy, eat some shrimp. Watching my two daughters, one after another, feeding shrimp to me, Bai Ningbing watched as her eyes twitched repeatedly. A sour smell of jealousy instantly filled the private room. With an expressionless face under the dining table, Bai Ningbing lightly kicked my leg. I, who was thoroughly enjoying the shrimp my daughter peeled for me, immediately raised my head to look at Bai Ningbing. She looked back, full of questioning. Bai Ningbing coldly spoke up. "For other people, it's always the father, peeling shrimp for his daughters to eat. Why does it turn into your daughters peeling shrimp for you to eat like that? Don't you have hands and feet?" I could tell right away that this woman was just jealous of our daughter, because she peeled shrimp for me and not for her. I fired back immediately. "No need. I have my kids anyway." Bai Ningbing was deeply hurt by Fang Yuan's words, feeling so furious inside that she wanted to vomit blood. Bai Ningbing, looking totally annoyed, immediately ordered a bottle of expensive imported liquor, holding the bottle and chugging it down. I reminded her, "You're still driving, yet you're drinking alcohol, you know." Bai Ningbing, who was extremely frustrated, coldly replied, "Don't you know how to drive?" Choked up by Bai Ningbing's single sentence, I didn't say anything more. At this moment, Xiaoqi suddenly remembered that she hadn't peeled any shrimp for her mother to eat. So she hurriedly peeled one and handed it to her. Do I need you to peel the shrimp for me? Don't I have hands and feet? Yanki. Who knows if it was because she just chugged half a bottle of imported liquor and felt a bit dizzy, or because she was feeling upset inside, but for the first time. Bai Ningbing used her coldest and harshest tone to treat Xiaoqi like that, being treated coldly by Bai Ningbing for the very first time. Xiaoqi instantly became flustered, her big round eyes tearing up, filled with a sense of grievance. Noticing my daughter's uneasiness and awkwardness, I hurriedly came to her rescue. Xiaoqi, if mommy won't eat it, give it to daddy. Daddy is more than happy to eat it. Having her awkwardness cleared up, Xiaoqi only then brought that shrimp to my mouth. Xiaoming also said to Xiaoqi, Xiaoqi, peel. One for me too, it's my absolute favorite. Getting to eat shrimp peeled by you is the best. You always only peel them for daddy and never for me, making me feel like I have no luck at all. Xiaoqi nodded, peeling another one for her sister. But peeling shrimp for her mother for the first time only to be rejected made Xiaoqi feel extremely aggrieved. Facing this lavish seafood table, the little girl no longer had any appetite left. I coldly glanced at Bai Ningbing, perhaps also realizing this icy atmosphere. Only now did Bai Ningbing react, looking at Xiaoqi, who was lowering her head and twisting her hands in a state of deep grievance. Bai Ningbing felt immense regret. What on earth did she just do? Wasn't it just because she didn't peel shrimp for her in that split second? Bai Ningbing also panicked, her mind in a complete mess. I'm sorry, Xiaoqi. Mommy has been under a bit of pressure. It's not, Mommy didn't mean to talk to you like that. I looked at the flustered Bai Ningbing. Xiaoqi raised her head, her small face squeezing out a smile, saying, it's not Mommy's fault. It's Xiaoqi who didn't pay attention to Mommy's mood. Only peeling shrimp for daddy and not for Mommy is Xiaoqi's fault. I'm sorry, Mommy. Next time I won't do it again. Hearing her daughter's words, Bai Ningbing felt as if her heart was being stabbed by thousands of needles. Stinging with pain, she hurriedly hugged Xiaoqi into her arms, full of remorse as she said, it's not Xiaoqi's fault. It's Mommy. Mommy shouldn't have taken her anger out on you. I'm sorry, Xiaoqi. I'm sorry. It's okay, Mommy. Xiaoqi doesn't blame Mommy at all. Let's keep eating. Xiaoqi isn't full yet. Bai Ningbing sniffled, nodding her head as she choked out, okay. After that, fearing she might lose her temper again and yell at Xiaoqi, Bai Ningbing didn't dare to touch another drop of alcohol. Xiaoqi also peeled another shrimp for her to eat. Seeing her eat it, only then did a smile bloom on Xiaoqi's face again. Bai Ningbing also experienced the feeling of having food peeled for her by her daughter for the very first time. Xiaoming seemed to be mad at Bai Ningbing because she had just yelled at Xiaoqi, so she didn't peel anything for her, only peeling one for daddy. At this time, Bai Ningbing didn't mind Xiaoming's attitude either, personally feeding Xiaoqi a piece of crab roe. Watching the moment Xiaoqi ate the piece she fed her, a wave of fulfillment welled up. On the way back, since Bai Ningbing had consumed alcohol, I could only be the one to drive them back. On the 17th floor, Bai Ningbing wished Xiaoqi and everyone a good night. Xiaoqi, Xiaoming, goodbye and good night. Mommy will come find you guys again tomorrow. Goodbye, Mommy. Good night, Mommy. Goodbye. As for that lazy guy, Bai Ningbing just glanced over and ignored him, her proud expression seeming to say, how dare you make me jealous? You don't deserve my good night wish. As for me, I completely ignored this woman. She's been asking for it for more than just a day or two. Right at the moment the elevator doors closed, Bai Ningbing suddenly furrowed her brows, holding her stomach with one hand, her face also turning pale. Damn it, why does it hurt again? With no other choice, she had to lean against the wall. Staggering back to her room, with great difficulty, she pulled open a drawer, fumbling around to take out a medicine bottle, using her last bit of strength to twist it open. As it turned out, there was nothing left inside. Just as Bai Ningbing was about to fumble for her phone to call for an ambulance, a voice that she both loved and hated rang out. Stupid woman, what's wrong with you? Bai Ningbing gritted her teeth, fighting against the severe pain. Using her hands to prop herself up on the bed, forcing herself to sit up, her gloomy eyes glared at me, coldly asking, how did you get in? Looking at this stupid woman who was clearly in immense pain, yet still trying to act all proud and aloof, I found it hilarious. You didn't lock the door. Anyone could come in. Seeing her holding her stomach like that, I teased her, what are you having another Xiaoqi? Then why are you still fighting me for custody of our daughters? Bai Ningbing grabbed the pillow and threw it at me, feeling both furious and annoyed inside. This slacker didn't even look at the current situation, yet he still dared to come and provoke me, reaching out to catch that pillow. I placed one hand on my hip, the teasing smile on my face fading a bit. Your stomach condition flared up again, Bai Ningbing didn't say a word, clearly throwing a tantrum. Wasn't it cured before? Why? Are you still getting it? Hearing my interrogation-like tone, Bai Ningbing coldly said, who do you think you are to me? What illness I have do I need to report it to you? Fair enough, whatever happens to you is none of my business anyway. Though my mouth said that, I still pulled a medicine bottle out of my pocket. tossing it to Bai Ning. Bing, looking at the bottle that didn't have any label on it. Bai Ning Bing furrowed her brows. What is this? Stomach medicine. Take it and the pain will be gone instantly. Of course, you can also look at it as poison that I intentionally brought to deal with you. Bai Ning Bing looked at the medicine bottle in her hand, then suddenly raised her hand and threw the bottle into a corner of the room. Since it's poison, then I won't take it. I still want to live a few more years to take care of my kids. Suit yourself? Reverse psychology won't work on me. I shrugged, tossed the pillow onto her bed, turned around, and walked away without even looking back, seeing my back as I left so decisively. Bai Ning Bing gritted her teeth in anger. That slacker really left. Being abandoned by me like that. Bai Ning Bing glanced at the medicine bottle lying in the corner, letting out a cold, scornful snort, leaning against the headboard. She pulled out her phone and made a call. Not long after, the other side picked up. Hello? First young lady, Bai. What's up? Suppressing the pain, Bai Ning Bing asked, where are you? I'm still at the hospital. Bai Ning Bing furrowed her brows. On the night shift again. Do you know that doing night shifts in your state can easily lead to trouble? Oh, it's fine. I don't have anything better to do anyway. What's wrong? Come over here for a bit. My stomach condition flared up again. Hearing that Bai Ning Bing's stomach condition flared up again, the other side was stunned, then began to nag and scold Bai Ning Bing. I told you not to drink so much alcohol and stop staying up late so much. Look at you, it hurts again, right? All right, stop nagging. Hurry up and bring the medicine over to me. Gosh, why did I have to become best friends with someone like you? Every day you force me to give medical checkups in the middle of the night. This is so miserable. Besides, I'm currently in Shancheng, not in Guangzhou. By the time I fly over, you'll have died from the pain. As if remembering something, that voice suddenly said, oh right. Didn't your ex come back? Isn't he staying near your place? Just tell him to go buy medicine for you, right? By the way, take this chance to ease the relationship between you two. If you keep talking nonsense like that, believe it or not, I'll expose the fact that you still wet the bed at 18. And also that thing at 16 when you peeped at your cousin. That single sentence from Bai Ning Bing instantly froze Bai Shuarong. Hearing her finish, she immediately flared up. Stop, 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 don't say any more. If you don't want me to expose you, then hurry up and come save me. I'm in Shancheng town. Careful or I'll make you hit the headlines tomorrow. Hearing that her secrets were about to be leaked, the other side was instantly startled. I'm coming right now to save my bestie. I'm willing to go through fire and water without hesitation. The building you usually stay at 17th floor, right? I'm coming right now. It'll only take a few minutes. I'm on the 18th floor. Did you move? Cut the chatter, that's not the main point. Hurry up, hurry up. Don't say it out loud, okay? Especially that last thing. 5 minutes later, along with the screeching sound of brakes echoing throughout the apartment complex, a Bugatti Veyron parked in front of a building. A figure dashed out rapidly, taking the elevator straight up to the 18th floor. First young lady, Bai. I'm here. Bai Ning Bing, already in unbearable pain, opened her eyes to see a hot-figured girl wearing a long white dress, blonde hair, a black jacket tied around her waist, and a pair of gold-rimmed glasses, who had already appeared in her room. Bai Shuarong looked at Bai Ning Bing, who was in so much pain that she was about to pass out. She hurriedly opened her small medicine box, taking out a medicine bottle from inside. Take this first. It can relieve the pain. Bai Ning Bing took the medicine, and Bai Shuarong found a glass of water for her to wash it down, then took out a syringe, along with 2 small glass vials from the medicine box to give her an injection. After it calmed down for a while, only then did Bai Ning Bing feel the pain ease up. Bai Shuarong, while packing up her things, asked, did you go on an empty stomach and drink alcohol directly again? How did you know? Cut the crap, your whole body reeks of alcohol. One sniff and anyone would know. Bai Ning Bing breathed into her palm and sniffed it. It's fine. This time I only drank half a bottle. The alcohol content wasn't even that high. Bai Shuarong's eyelids twitched. How many degrees was it? If you keep this up, your stomach will be completely ruined. 53 degrees. Got it, got it. Next time I won't do it again. I'm feeling incredibly pissed off right now, just bringing up this matter. Bai Ning Bing gritted her teeth in anger again. Bai Shuarong curiously asked, who on earth made you this angry? Could it be some kind of scammer? It's another annoying guy. Sooner or later, I will find a way to teach him a lesson. Is it your daughter's father? Why do you have to guess? So accurately like that? Bai Shuarong rolled her eyes at her. Aside from the guy you always claim, ruined your whole life and who also took your daughters away, I really can't think of anyone else who could make you this furious. But hey, didn't you say you already found them? If you want to teach him a lesson, isn't that super simple? Bai Ning Bing remained silent for a moment. She didn't actually intend to make things difficult for that man. She just wanted to vent a bit to her best friend. So where are they right now? On the 17th floor where I used to live. You sure move fast just like that. You've already conquered that father-daughter trio. Bai Shuarong flashed a meaningful smile. You even arranged for them to stay right on the 17th floor. What do you want to sneak in? Late at night to make up with him. To rekindle the old flame. Cut it out with that teasing of yours. Alright, jokes aside. So do you plan to hide them here forever? What else? It took me so much effort just to find them. If I don't hide them here, where else can I hide them? Bai Shuarong sighed softly, hiding them. Like this won't do any good. Anyway, your actions over the past month or so have already been noticed by your parents with their capabilities. Sooner or later, they will find their way here. Bai Ningbing fell silent. She gently shook her head. I can't let them know about my daughters, nor about that man. At least not until everything is brought to light. Bai Shuarong furrowed her brows slightly. You still suspect that matter is related to your parents. No matter how strict they are, they wouldn't go as far as being heartless to their own granddaughters, right? After all, they are your own flesh and blood. Bai Ningbing let out a soft sigh. Holding her head, she said, it's hard to say. Before they were already unhappy with me going out to make a living on my own. So they already had a prejudice. On top of that, I encountered that unfortunate incident, making people view it as a stain on the Bai family. If this matter gets leaked out, the family's reputation will be completely ruined. I can't be sure what they would do for the sake of the family's honor. I don't want to gamble with my daughter's safety. So this is also the reason why for the past 5 years, you've always found every possible way to keep that father and their daughters hidden, right? Bai Ningbing nodded slightly. Exactly. Before everything is thoroughly investigated, I will absolutely not let them meet my daughters. It's up to you, just be careful. I'll help you cover up this matter as much as possible. When necessary, I'll try my best to convince my parents and my brother to help you out. Thank you. We'll just play everything by ear. With the bond between us, saying stuff like this sounds so distant. Just don't expose those secrets of mine and we're good. Hearing these words, Bai Ningbing couldn't help but smile. She and Bai Shuarong were best friends who grew up together since childhood. Between the two of them, there seemed to be no secrets, making them even closer than biological sisters. Looking at the black windbreaker tied around Shuarong's waist, Ningbing suddenly spoke up and asked, what's wrong? You still haven't been able to forget about him. This jacket belongs to him, right? So many years have passed, yet you always carry it with you. Bai Shuarong gently touched the somewhat old windbreaker. She was pursing her lips into a faint smile. If forgetting someone were that easy, then everything would have been wonderful. I wouldn't have ended up like this. Actually, it's not like you two can't be together, even though you're said to be distant relatives. After all, you two no longer share any blood relation. Why bother being so stubborn about that matter? Bai Shuarong sat down on Bai Ningbing's bed, her eyes flashing with sadness. I'm not exactly being stubborn about that matter. I could also feel that he didn't care at all. Otherwise, he wouldn't have accepted, enduring all the gossip, just to be by my side. Bai Ningbing fell silent for a brief moment. She well understood her best friend's determination. All right, I'll leave the medicine here for you. Remember to take it on time. You should go get some rest to recover. I have to go back to work. My night shift. If I stay away for too long, the head of the department will scold me. Having said that, Bai Sui Rong put down the stomach medicine bottle, then stood up intending to walk out. Bai Ningbing pouted slightly. You're not planning to stay and keep me company. No way. Babe, you're already this old. Besides, if you want someone to stay with you, go find your husband and kids. Faced with that teasing remark, Bai Ningbing could only roll her eyes at the ceiling. You really have a quick tongue. When walking to the door, Bai Shuarong saw a medicine bottle lying in the corner, so she bent down to pick it up. Seeing Shuarong pick up that medicine bottle, Bai Ningbing hurriedly rushed over and snatched it away. That one is mine. Hurry up and give it back to me. Bai Shuarong curiously asked, what kind of medicine is that? Could it be? Ningbing immediately raised her hand and gave her head a light tap. What on earth is that small head of yours thinking about all day? This is my stomach medicine. Where do you think your mind is wandering? Bai Shuarong mumbled with a dissatisfied look. Is there something wrong with you since you already had medicine? Why did you still call me over here? You could just take it yourself and rest for a bit. Wouldn't that be it? Making me rush all the way over here with so much effort, Ningbing casually replied. I was worried this medicine wouldn't be effective. This bottle was given to me by someone else, and it doesn't even have a label, nor is the manufacturer clear. Who knows if it actually works or not, or if it was just mixed by some amateur doctor. At the same time, in the bathroom on the 17th floor, while taking a shower, I suddenly felt a strange itch in my nose. And just like that, I let out a sneeze. Who has the free time to talk about me? Let's draw a circle to curse that person. I hope. When they go to the bathroom, there's only exactly one sheet of paper left. After hearing Bai Ningbing's explanation, Bai Shuarong understood the hidden meaning, and only she truly understood. Her best friend's personality, she directly guessed who gave her this medicine packet. Otherwise, no one would have said such harsh words. Is it really impossible to win him back? Well, suit yourself. Don't just carelessly take medicine of unknown origin. If it's sketchy then, just throw it away and be done with it. What if a medicine made by God knows who ends up harming your body and causing your stomach to cramp up. It's really not worth it. I rubbed my nose a few times, thinking to myself with a less than pleasant feeling. Who knows what jerk keeps targeting me and nagging? I'll draw a circle to curse you. I hope when you go eat seafood, you only find empty shells. Yeah, I know. Drive carefully, okay? Don't drink too much alcohol. Got it, got it. I'm heading back. I still have a shift tonight. Watch your step when you walk. You're getting up there in age too. Bai Suerong made a funny face at her. This sister here is forever 18. And hey, after all, I'm still a few months younger than you. If we're talking about getting up there in age, you're actually older than me, Bai Ning. Bing grabbed a pillow and threw it straight at her. Bai Shuarong giggled and ran away, leaving behind only the echo of her clear, mischievous laughter. Back in the car, Bai Suerong's originally cheerful face gradually turned gloomy. From the pocket of the windbreaker that she could never bear to throw away, she pulled out a photo that had yellowed with time. Her fair, delicate hand gently caressed the man in the photo. Bai Suerong murmured, "Aha, where on earth did you go? I miss you so much. Can you come into my dreams tonight to see me? I have so many things I want to tell you, but in a place hidden from." Her sight, a pair of eyes, was watching her intently. From the moment she arrived, went upstairs, and then came back down. Those eyes had always been there. From beginning to end, those eyes were strangely calm, frighteningly hollow, with a faint crimson tint overlaying the pupils, further intensifying that eerie and terrifying appearance. In just the blink of an eye, those eyes disappeared without a trace, leaving behind 5 deep scratch marks, engraved into the wall in that spot. Meanwhile, on the 17th floor, in the small room next to where Xiaoqi was staying, I held Xiaoqi with one arm, while my other hand gently patted her back, softly humming a few tunes to lull her to sleep. Xiaoqi drifted off to sleep, her tiny legs wrapped around my waist, her little hands tightly gripping the hem of my shirt, and her head resting against my chest, with her eyes closed tight and her rosy lips slightly parted. A bit of clear drool escaped from the corner of her mouth. I stood by the window, and from this angle, it just so happened I could see into that dark corner. That guy probably couldn't have guessed in his wildest dreams that while he was watching Bai Suerong, I was also watching him. It wasn't until those eyes disappeared that my hand movements briefly paused, and a ripple of emotion suddenly flashed through my gaze, as if I were contemplating something, perhaps because my soothing pats had stopped. Xiaoqi, who was sleeping in my arms, squirmed a little, her tiny body shifting slightly. I resumed gently patting her back, humming that old tune once again. Just like the way I used to soothe Xiaoqi when she was a baby, only then did Xiaoqi contentedly nuzzle her face against my chest, looking toward that dark corner. I muttered, "A creature that crawled out of hell, a cyborg bringing terror in the night. Night Tyrant number 03 Daojing. To think you'd show up here. Interesting." Knock, knock, knock. A series of knocks on the door, made by Ningbing, who had just woken up, furrow her brow slightly. Who would be knocking on her door this early in the morning? Not many people knew she was here, her parents. They wouldn't come here this early in the morning. That slacker guy was even more impossible. Wasn't Bai Suerong currently dead drunk? That tenant guy, though, was indeed a possibility. Just thinking that it might be him, her already sour mood became even worse. However, when she opened the door and saw the person knocking, her morning grogginess and irritation instantly vanished into thin air, replaced instead by a look of surprise and astonishment. "Xiaoqi, why are you here? No. Why did you come to my place so early in the morning?" That's right, the person knocking on the door wasn't Bai Suerong, nor was it the tenant. And definitely not that slacker guy, but her little precious Xiaoqi. Xiaoqi right now was wearing a tracksuit, her small face flushed red and covered in sweat. Even her hair was completely drenched in sweat. In her hand, she was also carrying a small basket. "Mom, time for breakfast." Bai Ningbing's eyes flickered slightly. She squatted down to take the small basket, and before she even had time to open it, she already smelled a faint aroma wafting out. Bai Ningbing opened it to look inside, and inside was a bowl of lean meat porridge, still steaming hot with a mouth-watering aroma. Inside there was also milk, eggs, and a few slices of peeled apple. Bai Ningbing's gaze turned puzzled. She couldn't help but ask Xiaoqi, "Did your dad tell you to bring this to me?" "No, it's not like that." This single sentence from Xiaoqi shattered her delusion. Bai Ningbing laughed at herself internally. That slacker guy dislikes me so much. How could he possibly let his daughter bring me breakfast? Besides, if he really wanted to send it, why would he need to ask his daughter to do it? Couldn't he just come over himself? Oh, so all of this is Jiao. He wanted to give this breakfast to you. Xiaoqi is so good. How did you know that your mom hadn't eaten breakfast yet? Because earlier Xiaoqi went jogging with Dad. While the two of us were talking, Dad mentioned that you often skip breakfast. But Dad taught me that a person must absolutely eat a proper breakfast. Otherwise, it won't be good for your stomach. So when I saw that there was still leftover breakfast at home, I brought it over to you right away. Hearing her daughter's innocent words, Bai Ningbing's willow brows slightly arch. Normally, Fang Yuan and his daughter had lived together for so long. There was no way he didn't know the appetite of the two of them. And there was definitely no way he'd make extra breakfast. Furthermore, how could it be such a coincidence that it happened to be extra by exactly one portion? In an instant, Bai Ningbing found herself not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Then mom says thank you to Xiaoqi. Okay, my Xiaoqi is so good. It's nothing, mom. Just remember to eat it while it's hot. Now I'll be heading downstairs. Xiaoqi hasn't eaten breakfast yet either. If dad comes back later and sees that I still haven't had my meal, dad will definitely scold and punish me. Bye. Ningbing was slightly surprised. Your dad went out. Xiaoqi nodded to confirm, yes, mom. Dad left right after I finished exercising. Did Xiaoqi climb the stairs up here all by yourself? Just thinking about this. Bai Ningbing just wanted to beat that annoying guy up. One must know that, with a little girl's height, how could she press the elevator? Button Xiaoqi hurriedly waved her hands. No, it's not like that. Dad brought me and brother Xiaoming back home before he left. After I entered the house, I saw there was still an extra breakfast portion left on the table, so I packed it up and brought it to you. The little girl's words further confirmed Bai Ningbing's speculation. So she immediately asked, then Xiaoqi, where did your dad go? Does he just feel safe leaving you guys at home all alone like that? Xiaoqi thought for a moment and then replied, I don't know, dad didn't tell me. But it's fine, mom. Brother Xiaoming and I are at home. We can still take good care of each other. Hearing up to this point, Bai Ningbing was both happy because of her daughter's maturity, but also heartbroken because she had to grow up way too early. Bai Ningbing tried to suppress the choking feeling in her nose. Did you guys often have to stay at home alone before? Well, it's pretty normal. It's just like that once in a while. Then what about dad? Dad has to go to work. Dad has to make money to raise me and brother Xiaoming so that we won't go hungry. So sometimes dad has to go away for a very long time before coming back. At home, there's only me, brother Xiaoming, and Aunt Yu Ding. Hearing these words, Bai Ningbing couldn't hold it back anymore. The corners of her eyes stung and a tear gently welled up on her eyelashes. Goodbye, mom. Xiaoqi has to go back now. Seeing her daughter intending to go downstairs by herself, Bai Ningbing hurriedly stopped her. Xiaoqi, let mom take you home, okay? It's not safe for you to go alone. Xiaoqi shook her head in refusal, smiling as she said, it's fine, mom. Mom Xiaoqi is really good at climbing stairs. Before I could climb up to 7 floors all by myself. Later, dad didn't let me climb a lot anymore. He only allowed a maximum of 3 floors. Dad also doesn't let me carelessly climb to high floors. Otherwise, dad will punish me. Xiaoqi, don't say any more. If you say more, mom is afraid she'll break down. Bai Ningbing suppressed the heartbreaking feeling welling up in her heart, tightly hugging her daughter in her arms, forcing out a doting smile. It's okay. Just let mom take you home, okay? Letting you climb the stairs alone. Mom really can't feel at peace at all. Okay then, sorry to trouble you, mom. Having said that, Xiaoqi gently kissed Bai Ningbing's cheek. Her heart felt like it was going to melt from that gesture. Instinctively, she also planted a kiss on the chubby cheeks of her daughter, a kiss full of love. Oh, mom, my face is full of sweat, so it's very dirty. It's okay. Mom doesn't mind that at all. Come here, let mom wipe the sweat for you. Yes, thank you, mom. In the future, you don't need to thank mom. Those are things that mom should do for you. But dad taught me to always be polite to everyone. That's only for outsiders, my love. Mom is not an outsider. Do you understand? Yes, I remember now. After bringing her daughter back to the 17th floor, Bai Ningbing returned to her own place, looking at the bowl of lean meat porridge. On the table, her gaze was incredibly complicated. 6 years ago, when her stomach wasn't doing well, that man would also cook porridge for her like this every day. At Shancheng Hospital, Bai Shuirong had just finished an exhausting night shift. She walked while rubbing her temples to sober up. The morning sunlight shone directly into her eyes, making her involuntarily squint. Right at this moment, a man dressed in a sharp suit with a flamboyant appearance, but hinting at a slightly unruly vibe, was walking toward her. Gu Hao looked at Bai Shuirong, who was in a completely exhausted state, his brows furrowing slightly as he couldn't help but speak up in concern. Why did you pull another night shift? Do you even know how your health is, Yi? As he spoke, he was about to reach out his hand to support her, but Shuirong decisively pushed his hand away, using her haggard eyes from the lack of sleep to look at the man in front of her. Gu, how long are you going to keep dragging this on? I already told you to stop caring about me. Between us, it's completely impossible. Move aside. Even if we can't be lovers, at least we're still friends, right? How can I just watch my friend get exhausted to this point and do nothing? Don't you still understand my personality? Bai Shuirong glanced at him and then said, precisely because I understand you too well. I know that as a friend, I need to keep my distance from you even more. This guy, everything about him was great, except for the fact that he was way too obsessed when it came to feelings. Gu Hao fell silent for a moment and then asked back, is being loyal a bad thing? Bai Shuirong raised her hand to lightly tap her head, feeling a bit of a headache coming on. She muttered, I'm not saying a loyal person is bad. It's just that people who are too extreme in love tend to easily make the wrong decisions. If he gets what he wants, he will dote on the other person up to the high heavens, but if he can't get it, it's highly likely he'll become incredibly terrifying. Isn't that right? Right at that moment, Gu Hao suddenly didn't dare to look straight into her eyes. He hurriedly averted his gaze, looking elsewhere, then clenched his fist tightly, slightly, pursing his lips without saying a word. Also, because I understand your nature well. That's why a few days ago, when you confessed your feelings, I rejected you so decisively. Of course, even without that reason, I would still have turned you down. Sincerity is not a crime, and liking only one person is definitely not wrong. The mistake is that this sincerity shouldn't be wasted on me. Gu Hao's eyes, which were as deep as a lake, flashed with a surge of chaotic emotions. His voice dropped, becoming a bit raspy. Is this the reason why you rejected me? Sincerity is not wrong, but it shouldn't be me. There is no longer any room in my heart for anyone else. You doing this is only going to waste your time on someone like me. A trace of darkness flashed in Gu Hao's eyes, his fist clenching so hard that blue veins popped out. He couldn't help but let out a low roar to question her. Could it be that in your heart, I'm that kind of person? We have already known each other for over 10 years. Is it possible I don't clearly know what you think about me? Just a single sentence from Bai Shuarong made the anger that had just flared up in Gu Hao's heart instantly get completely extinguished. Gu Hao stared blankly at Bai Shuarong, not understanding why she would utter such words. Seeing Gu Hao's incredibly perplexed expression, Bai Shuarong fell silent for a long time. Then waved her hand. Forget it. Explaining to you is too exhausting. Anyway, things between us should stop here. If you still want to maintain this friendship, then please keep your distance from me and stop interfering in my life. Gu Hao fell silent for a brief moment. Then he suddenly loosened his fists, and his tone became much softer as well. So do we really not have even a tiny bit of a chance left? Bai Shuarong answered extremely decisively. Not at all. She leaned her back against her sports car, and suddenly she smiled, asking Gu Hao, Hey, Gu Hao, don't you think you have an issue? There are so many good girls in this world. Why do you have to keep clinging to someone whose heart has absolutely no room for you? Gu Hao looked deep into her eyes, his voice suddenly becoming incredibly gentle. Because the one I like is you. Even if there is only a 1 in 10,000 or 1 in a million chance, I still want to make an effort to win you over no matter what. Bai Shuarong rolled her eyes at him, opened the car door and stepped inside. She waved her hand to say goodbye to him, using the tone of an experienced person to say, don't be such an overly obsessed simp in the future. You're just making yourself suffer for absolutely nothing. And don't ever expect that you can move someone else's heart. That's just completely one-sided on your part. The other person won't change because of that. Gu Hao stood frozen, watching the car drive away. It took a long time before he finally snapped out of it. I've never thought about changing you. I just want to be by your side to protect you, even if it's just seeing you for a bit longer. That's already good enough. Too bad that in your eyes, there has seemingly never been a place for me, not even the tiniest bit. But he completely couldn't have guessed that, if at this moment he actually acted according to what Bai Shuarong had warned against and took that extreme path, taking advantage of her exhaustion to do something unseemly, he would permanently disappear from this world. In a nearby blind spot, a pair of eyes had been quietly watching everything, witnessing the entire situation that had just unfolded. Right when that dark figure was also about to leave, a hand suddenly reached out from the shadows and patted his shoulder firmly. A deep, calm voice followed right after, echoing out, secretly stalking someone like this is really not a good move at all. Or perhaps she is your target. The king of the night, Black Dao Jing. The exact moment that hand touched his shoulder, Black Dao Jing's body suddenly tensed up like a hunting leopard sensing a fatal danger. But just a second later, his muscles gradually relaxed again. Only his eyes gleaming with a faint red tint narrowed slightly, while his whole being maintained a strangely calm demeanor. Is that you? Black Dao Jing's voice was extremely raspy, sounding as if he hadn't spoken in a very long time. Cyborg number 07, Judge Fang Yuan, one of the most successful test subjects of the Research Institute. I slowly stepped out from the shadows, standing in the dimly lit alley, to face this legendary cyborg. The morning sunlight was sliced by the tall buildings into long beams of light, creating a clear boundary between the two of us, separating the light zone and the dark zone. It looks like your files on me are pretty complete. Over there, I spoke calmly, but my eyes were still locked onto his every move. Black Dao Jing slowly turned around his face, so pale that it practically had no color. His facial features were deeply sunken, but the most striking part was definitely those eyes. A faint red glow enveloped his pupils, a signature trace of the biological modification process. 5 years ago, you took 2 children and vanished from the Bai family. The voice of Black Daojing didn't carry a single shred of emotion. The Bai family has gone all out searching for you guys. I also tracked you for 3 whole years, but every single time I lost the trail at the very last minute. You are truly very good at hiding yourself. All of that was just to protect my daughter, I replied shortly, while my brain was also spinning at lightning speed. Cyborg number 03, codename Night Tyrant. His capability file showed that he possessed excellent night vision and his stealth skills were almost at the level of absolute perfection, along with an incredibly astonishing explosive strength. And the most important thing was that he was a freelance mercenary not under the management of the National Research Institute or any government agency. He only served the highest bidder. What did the Bai family hire you to do? I asked simultaneously, getting ready for any situation. Initially, it was just to search. Black Daojing's gaze looked back toward the direction where Bai Suerong had left. 3 years ago, the mission changed. Find and eliminate the male target. Bring the female target back. My heart sank. This was the actual truth about the pursuit 5 years ago. It wasn't Bai Ningbing, but other people in the Bai family. Who gave the order? I asked. Black Daojing didn't answer directly. He only said indifferently, the one holding power in the Bai family is not that young lady. The name Bai Zhan surfaced in my mind. Bai Ningbing's father, the man who actually controls the Bai Corporation. Why are you only showing up now? I asked. With your abilities, you could have completely made a move much earlier. The corner of Black Daojing's mouth curled up slightly into a barely noticeable arc. Because the orders changed again? A month ago, the client requested that I protect the targets, especially those 2 children, while also monitoring your every move. This plot twist was completely outside my calculations. Protection and monitoring. Who changed the order? I pressed further. Bai Zhan. Black Daojing calmly replied. He contacted me through a special channel. The payout was 3 times higher than before and the request was very simple. Protect the 2 of them while also monitoring you to see if you have any intentions of harming his daughter. I was stunned. Bai Zhan hired Black Daojing to protect us, I coldly said. I don't believe it. How would Bai Zhan even know about your existence? He doesn't know who Black Daojing is, the cyborg explained. He only used the underworld bounty system to post the mission. I happened to see that the original target was you, so I accepted the gig. This actually sounded plausible. In order to find us, Bai Zhan must have mobilized all available resources, including the dark web channels. Then why are you stalking Bai Suerong now? I asked the most critical question. Black Daojing's gaze finally wavered a bit, the red light in his eyes flashing slightly. Personal reasons. It has nothing to do with you. If it involves Bai Suerong, then it involves me. I took a step forward. The energy aura on my body starting to shift. She is my friend? The atmosphere suddenly grew heavy. The confrontation between 2 cyborgs made the temperature in the entire alley drop by several degrees. From afar, the shouting of an early morning street vendor echoed, contrasting sharply with the bleak atmosphere right here. 5 years ago, Bai Suerong saved my life. Black Daojing suddenly spoke up, his voice revealing a rare trace of emotional fluctuation. At my absolute lowest point, right when I had just escaped from the lab, covered in injuries, she hid me away to treat me. She didn't ask who I was, nor did she call the police. This piece of information completely astounded me. Bai Suerong had actually saved Black Daojing's life. So you're stalking her just to repay that act of kindness, I asked. He corrected me, to protect her. She has been in danger recently, Gu Hao. That man just now is not as simple as he looks. I recalled the scene from earlier. Gu Hao's obsession with Bai Suerong was truly a bit abnormal. But how do you know that? I asked. I've investigated him, Black Daojing calmly replied. On the surface, he's a regular businessman, but behind the scenes, he is involved in shady dealings. More importantly, his obsession with Bai Suerong has reached a psycho level. I monitored his communications and found out he's planning to use extreme measures. Extreme measures. My heart tightened. Even though Bai Suerong is a doctor facing a deeply obsessed psychopath, I'm afraid she would find it hard to cope. Then why didn't you just warn her directly? I asked. Black Daojing fell silent for a moment. I'm not good at interacting with people. Besides, my presence would only bring trouble to her. This sentence gave me a whole new perspective on this legendary night tyrant. He wasn't entirely cold and emotionless. He was just terrible at expressing himself. I can help you, I said. As a friend, I will warn Bai Suerong. But you have to promise me one thing. Stop stalking me and my daughter. If Bai Zhan asks, just tell him we're doing fine and aren't facing any threats. I looked straight into his eyes. In return, I will ensure the safety of Bai Suerong and help you find a better way to repay her. Black Daojing pondered over this proposal. The morning light gradually grew brighter, and the dark shadows in the alley began to recede. From afar, the sound of children laughing on their way to school echoed, contrasting with the confrontation between 2 abnormal entities here, creating a bizarre contrast. I accept. Finally, Black Daojing nodded. But on one condition. If I find out you hurt those two kids, or if anything happens to them because of your carelessness, I will intervene immediately. They are my life, I said solemnly. You don't need to worry about that. Black Dao Jing nodded slightly, and then his figure began to fade, seemingly wanting to merge into the dissolving darkness. Wait, I called him back. There's one more question. The group that pursued me 5 years ago, aside from you, who else was there? Black Dao Jing's figure had completely sunk into the shadows, leaving only his echoing voice. They weren't dispatched by me. That was another group of people. It could be other factions within the Bai family. Be careful, Judge. You have more than just one enemy. After saying those words, his presence completely vanished, as if he had never even appeared. I stood frozen on the spot, mulling over the information I just received. Bai. Jan was secretly protecting us while people in the Bai family wanted to make a move on me. Gu Hao had dangerous intentions toward Bai Shurong, and Black Dao Jing owed her a massive favor. Everything was way more complicated than I imagined. When I returned to the apartment, Xiao Qi and Xiao Ming were eating breakfast at the table. Seeing me return, Xiao Qi instantly jumped off her chair and ran over. Daddy's back, she hugged, my leg tightly looking up with her tiny face to ask, have you eaten yet, Daddy Xiao Qi? Saved. Some breakfast for you? I gently ruffled her hair, a wave of warmth surging in my heart. Daddy already ate. Xiao Qi is such a good girl. Xiao Ming also walked over and handed me a glass of water. Have some water, Daddy. Looking at my two sensible daughters, I became even more determined to protect them, no matter what kind of plot. The Bai family's internal factions are cooking up or how many enemies there are. I will never let anyone harm you guys. Mommy just called earlier. Daddy Xiao Qi suddenly spoke up. She said she'll take us to the park tonight. I was momentarily dazed. Bai Ningbing was moving really fast. Daddy, can we go? Xiaoming asked with eyes full of anticipation, her big round eyes gleaming with light. Looking at the expectant gaze of my kids, I didn't have the heart to refuse. Besides, I also needed to talk to her about the Black Dao Jing situation, about the threats from the Bai family's side, and about our future. Of course. We'll go, I said with a smile. Xiao Qi and Xiao Ming instantly cheered. The small apartment was filled with childhood joy when dusk fell. Bai Ningbing appeared right on time at the door. Today, she was wearing casual clothes, a white t-shirt paired with jeans, shedding the usual authority of a female CEO, replaced instead by a gentle closeness. Is everyone ready yet? She asked softly, but her gaze subconsciously drifted toward me. Xiao Qi and Xiao Ming rushed over, the two of them hugging either side of their mom's legs. Her face instantly lit up with a smile. She leaned down to hug her two daughters. Did you guys miss Mommy? Yes, we did, the two kids replied in unison. Watching this scene, my mood was incredibly complex. The bond of bloodlines is truly magical, despite being separated for 5 whole years. The mother-daughter connection was still naturally warm and deep. The amusement park was brightly lit up with colorful lights. The nighttime crowd was somewhat thinner, but the atmosphere was still very lively. The two kids were like birds out of a cage, excitedly dragging their mom's hands and running everywhere, from the carousel and bumper cars to even the mini train. They wanted to try it all. I quietly followed behind them, watching her let the kids lead her around, her face blooming with a rarely seen peaceful smile. Right now, she wasn't the boss of the Bai Corporation, but just an ordinary mother. Daddy, come here quickly. Xiao Ming turned her head to call me. Let's ride. The Ferris wheel together, I quickened my pace and walked over along with Bai Ningbing, dragged into the wheel's cabin by the two kids. The cabin slowly ascended high into the air, and the night view of the town unfolded beneath our feet. The lights of countless homes looked like the Milky Way descended to Earth, while far off on the river's surface, the lights from boats formed ribbons of silk. Xiao Qi and Xiao Ming pressed against the glass window, their little faces glued to the glass in pure amazement. It's so beautiful, Xiao Qi said, like Daddy's Star Kingdom. Xiao Ming excitedly added, inside the cabin, everything suddenly fell quiet, leaving only the faint hum of the operating machinery. Bai Ningbing sat right across from me. She cast her eyes outside the window, the profile of her face looking so soft under the lights. We need to talk a bit. I spoke up, breaking the silence. Bai Ningbing turned her head back, the softness on her face vanishing, returning to her usual cold and aloof demeanor. What do you want to say about Black Dao Jing? I went straight to the point. Her pupils contracted slightly. How do you know he came looking for me today? I said, you don't need him to protect me. Bai Ningbing tightly pursed her lips, not denying it at all. I just wanted to ensure the safety of the kids. I know my father might make things difficult for you. So you knew too. The person pursuing me 5 years ago wasn't you, was it? My question made her suddenly raise her head, her eyes flashing with shock and anger. Have you always thought that I was the one behind it? No matter how dissatisfied I was with you, I would never harm the father of my children. And I would definitely never hurt my own kids. Her voice trembled a bit, clearly hurt by the misunderstanding. I figured that out later on as well. I frankly admitted to her, if it really were your doing, With the massive power and influence of the Bai family, I wouldn't have been able to live in peace for the past 5 years, but I need to confirm who made a move on me. Bai Ningbing took a deep breath, trying to calm her emotions down. I have already thoroughly investigated everything. It was Zhao Ming, my father's assistant. He thought doing that would please my father and satisfy me. That idiot has already been dealt with by me. Dealt with how? I raised an eyebrow slightly and asked back. I fired him immediately and made sure he can never work in this industry again. Bai? Ningbing replied coldly. If it weren't for the legal restraints, I would have made him pay a much heavier price. Those stone-cold words came right out of her mouth, but they actually made me feel a bit relieved. At least, she sincerely wanted to protect her daughters. Then what about your father? I asked the most critical question. What is his attitude? The gaze of Bai Ningbing suddenly darkened. My father is a very traditional man. He believes that you ruined the Bai family's reputation and broke off the marriage alliance between me and the Gu family 5 years ago. He tacitly approved of Zhao Ming taking action. As for now, I'm not so sure. Is that why you hid my daughters and me here? Hiring Black Dao Jing to protect me is also part of that reason. Bai Ningbing nodded in admission. But what's more important is that I want to be a mother to the kids again. I know I missed out on the last 5 years, so I don't want to waste any more time. The Ferris wheel cabin had reached the highest point. The entire night view of the city was fully captured within our sight. Xiao Ming and Xiao Qi were still excitedly pointing at the lights below. The two kids completely oblivious to the serious conversation between the adults. Bai Ningbing, I looked straight into her eyes. I can let the kids recognize you as their mother and even agree to let them live with you. But I have one condition. What condition? She anxiously asked back. You must guarantee absolute safety for the kids, not just physically, but also psychologically. I continued, if anyone from the Bai family wants to harm them or use the kids to threaten me, you absolutely must stand by our side. Bai Ningbing didn't hesitate for a single second and replied instantly, I promise, they are my daughters. I will protect them with my own life. Furthermore, I continued, you must not force the kids to do anything they don't want to do, including interacting with your family or meeting your father. This time, team, is this time, team. Bai Ningbing hesitated a bit, but my father is still their grandfather after all, though. Not until you are absolutely sure that your father completely accepts the kids. My attitude was extremely firm. I didn't want my children to suffer any discrimination or cold treatment whatsoever. They've already suffered enough disadvantages from living in a single-parent home and often had to endure judging gazes. I didn't want them getting hurt by their very own blood relatives. Bai Ningbing fell silent. The cabin began to slowly descend, and the scenery on the ground gradually became clearer. I understand finally, she said. I'll get everything sorted out. Please give me a little more time. Also, I suddenly remembered Black Dao Jing's warning. Do you know Gu Hao? Gu Hao's younger brother, Bai Ningbing, frowned. I do, but we're not close at all. He has always been pursuing Bai Shuarong. Did something happen? Black Dao Jing found out that he has a dangerous obsession with Shuarong, and he might use extreme measures. I briefly explained. You'd better give Shuarong a heads up. Bai Ningbing's expression instantly changed. Shuarong is in danger. Let me contact her right away. She took out her phone, but I managed to hold her hand back. Don't rush. Black Dao Jing is already secretly protecting her. We need a more thorough plan, one that can protect Shuarong without alerting the target. We lowered our voices to discuss the plan until the cabin touched the ground. The door opened. Daddy, Mommy, we want to keep playing. Xiao Ming pointed toward the pirate ship ride in the distance. Bai Ningbing put her phone away, a radiant smile appearing on her lips again. All right, Mommy will take you guys there. All right, Mommy will take you guys there. Watching her lead a child in each hand walking toward the pirate ship, ride mixed emotions welled up in my heart. Indescribable. Perhaps we really could find a path. One where the kids get a mother's full love, while also ensuring their safety and happiness. Over the next few weeks, life seemed to fall into a new routine. Every day after getting off, work by Ningbing would come visit the kids. On weekends, she spent all her time by their side. Xiao Ming and Xiao Qi gradually got used to having their mom in their lives. The smiles on the two little faces grew more and more frequent. As for me, I secretly kept in touch with Black Dao Jing to monitor Gu Hao's every move. At the same time, I also used my connections at the Research Institute to investigate the internal power division within the Bai family. One afternoon, while I was in the apartment, sorting through the investigation documents, the doorbell rang. Opening the door, the person standing there turned out to be Bai Shuarong. Feng Yuan, is it really you? Bai Shuarong widened her eyes in shock. Ningbing told me that you had returned, but I still couldn't believe it. I smiled and invited her inside. Long time no see. Sister Shuarong is as beautiful as always. Her golden hair shined under the sunlight, though there was a hint of exhaustion in her eyes. Where are Xiaoming and Xiaoti? She asked, her eyes scanning the apartment. Ningbing took them to dance class, I replied. How do you have the time to drop by here? Bai Shuarong sat down on the sofa, letting out a soft sigh. I came to ask for your help. To be exact, Ningbing told me to come find you. It's about Gu Hao, right? I nodded, guessing it correctly. Her expression turned serious. She said you have a way to help me. Get rid of Gu Hao's stalking. She said Gu Hao might harm me. I poured her a glass of water and sat down across from her. Black. Dao Jing discovered a few of Gu Hao's plans. He intends to use some nasty methods to force you to submit. Bai Shuarong's face suddenly turned pale. What kind of methods? The specifics are still unclear, but it involves drugs and unlawful detention. I tried to speak in the calmest voice possible. Black Dao Jing is gathering evidence. As soon as there's enough proof, it will be handed over to the authorities immediately. But before that happens, you need to be carefully protected. Bai Shuarong's hands trembled slightly. I never expected him to look so gentle yet. Those with extreme obsessions are usually the most dangerous ones, I continued. During this time, it's best if you move in with Ningbing, or I will have Black Dao Jing protect you 24/7. Bai Shuarong thought for a moment and then smiled bitterly. I think having Black Dao Jing protect me is enough. I don't want to be a third wheel and ruin the space of your family of four. Her words made me pause for a moment. Isn't it a family of four? Bai Shuarong winked. Ningbing, you and the two little daughters. Even though you two are temporarily apart right now, sooner or later, you'll end up back together anyway. I shook my head. Things aren't that simple. There are still too many issues between us. But both of you love those two. Kids, don't you? Bai Shuarong hit the nail right on the head. Xiaoming and Xiaoqi, for the sake of the kids, is there anything you two can't overcome? She was right. For our daughters. Bai Ningbing and I could indeed put aside many prejudices, but some wounds aren't easily healed. Let's not talk about that. I proactively changed the subject. About Black Dao Jing, do you know why he's protecting you with everything he's got? Yet. The expression on Bai Shuarong's face softened. I know. 5 years ago, I saved a heavily injured man, even though he always wore a mask turn, but I knew it was him. His eyes are very unique. He owes you a life, I said, but I don't need him to repay the favor. Bai Shuarong said softly. Saving people is my duty as a doctor, no matter who he is or what he does for a living. While we were talking, my phone vibrated. It was an encrypted message sent from Black Dao Jing. Gu Hao is making a move tonight. The target is Bai Shuarong's apartment. Suggest immediate relocation. I showed the message to Bai Shuarong, making her face turn even paler. What should we do now? She asked. Just proceed according to the plan. I stood up abruptly. Go over to Ningbing's place. Black Dao Jing and I will handle things on this end. Night fell down below Bai Shuarong's apartment building. I hid in the shadows of the opposite building, watching the apartment entrance through a miniature binocular. Black Dao Jing was in his element, inside the ventilation shaft on the rooftop of the building. The target's car has appeared through the earpiece. Came Black Dao Jing's cold, emotionless voice. A black SUV slowly pulled up at the base of the building. Gu Hao stepped down from the driver's seat. He looked around for a moment, then opened the trunk, taking out a small handheld briefcase. His movements were very cautious and practiced. Clearly, this wasn't his first time doing this. The briefcase likely contains drugs or crime tools, Black Dao Jing analyzed. He planned this very meticulously, avoiding all the blind spots of the surveillance cameras. Wait until he gets inside, then we move, I said. After Gu Hao entered the building, Black Dao Jing and I launched our strike simultaneously. I quickly followed the stairs, while Black Dao Jing used the pipes and outer ledges to climb up like a spider of the night. By the time we reached the floor of Bai Shuarong's apartment, Gu Hao had already used a spare key to open the door and enter. It seemed he had prepared these things a long time ago. The police will be here in 5 minutes, Black Dao Jing reported through the earpiece. I already leaked the info, claiming there was a break-in and kidnapping. That's enough, I said. Then a powerful kick burst the door open. Inside the apartment, Gu Hao was taking ropes and a syringe out of the briefcase. Hearing the loud noise, he turned around in shock. Seeing that the intruder was me, a flash of shock crossed his face, which quickly turned it into rage. Feng Yuan, why are you here? He questioned. Here to stop you from doing something stupid, I calmly replied while scanning the room, confirming there were no other accomplices. Gu Hao laughed coldly. Stop me. What right do you have? Shuarong was meant to belong to me. We've known each other for over 10 years. How long have you even known her? This isn't a matter of how long or short the time is. I took a step forward. Shuarong has her own right to choose. You cannot force her to choose you. Gu Hao's emotions became highly agitated. Who exactly did she choose? A man who is no longer around. Someone who can permanently Never return in what way am I inferior to him, in his words? Deep agony and twisted obsession were clearly exposed. I realized this obsession was no longer simple love, but had turned into a type of mental illness. Put down the things in your hands, Guhao, I advised him. Stopping now is still not too late. You still have a future ahead, don't ruin yourself here. But Guhao raised the syringe, instead filled with a clear liquid inside. It's too late tonight, I must take Shuarong away, to a place where no one can find us. Just the two of us, before his words could finish, a dark figure lunged down from the ceiling. Black Daojing appeared like a ghost right behind Guhao. With a precise strike to the back of the neck, Guhao's body went limp and he collapsed to the ground. The syringe rolled away to the side. Neat job, I commented. Black Daojing didn't reply, only bending down to check Guhao's condition. He's just knocked out, not life-threatening, matite. The police will be here in 2 minutes. We quickly gathered the tools Guhao brought to use as evidence for the charges, then left through the fire escape. Just as we reached downstairs, the police sirens echoed, tearing through the quiet night. Standing in the shadows of the street corner, I watched the police enter the building, then turned to Black Daojing and said, "Thank you for saving Shuarong." "Just paying back a debt," Black Daojing replied briefly, then handed me a small flash drive. These are the documents from Guhao's computer. Not only his plans to harm Shuarong, but also some inside information about the Bai family. I took the flash drive, suddenly having a gut feeling about the secrets of the Bai family. Guhao and Baijan have been in secret contact with each other, Black Daojing revealed. The things they are secretly planning, they're targeted at you and the 2 little girls. The detailed content still needs to be decrypted, but I advise you to be careful. Baijan again, this man who always stands behind the shadows, what on earth does he want to do? 3 days later at the hospital room, Guhao was sitting on the hospital bed, his wrists cuffed and locked tightly to the bed rail. He was arrested for illegal possession of controlled substances and various other charges like attempted unlawful detention. But because his psychological evaluation showed signs of severe instability, he was temporarily transferred to the psychiatric ward. Bai Shuarong stood outside the hospital room, looking through the glass window. Guhao sat motionless with his head down, as if he had lost everything. What will happen to him? Bai Shuarong asked softly. He will receive treatment, and then face judgment. I said, his lawyer is applying for a mental competency evaluation. If it goes smoothly, he might be sent to a specialized facility for treatment. Bai Shuarong fell silent for a long time. She said, actually, he's quite pitiful. Loving someone isn't wrong. He just went about it the wrong way. That wasn't love. That's possession, I corrected her. True love means respecting the other person's choice, even if that choice doesn't include you. Bai Shuarong turned to look at me, her eyes filled with complex emotions. You're right, just like you and Ningbing. Even though there were misunderstandings between you two, for the sake of your daughters, you still choose to walk this path together. I didn't deny it. These past few weeks spent with Bai Ningbing had shown me how much she had changed. She was no longer the impulsive young lady of the past, but a mother trying her best to become a better person. Fang Yuan, Bai Shuarong, suddenly spoke seriously. Please treat Ningbing well. These past few years haven't been easy for her at all. On the outside, she's the brilliant head of the family, but I know very well that after losing you and the girls for 5 years, what her inner self had to endure. I nodded. I will, for the sake of our daughters, and also for the emotional debt between us. When I left the hospital, I received a phone call from Bai Ningbing. Fang Yuan, where are you right now? Her voice sounded a bit rushed. I just left the hospital. What's wrong? My father wants to meet you, Bai Ningbing said. Tomorrow noon at the Bai family villa. He said he wants to discuss the matter of Xiaoqi and Xiaoming. It's finally here. Baijan is finally making a personal appearance. What do you think? I asked. The other end of the line went silent for a moment. Before Bai Ningbing said, I think you should go, but don't go alone. I'll go with you. If he dares to make things difficult, for you and the kids, I will stand by your side. This promise warmed my heart. All right. See you tomorrow. The Bai family villa was located on the outskirts of a mountain town, a vast estate-style architectural complex. White walls, black tiles, and a deep courtyard. Everywhere exuded an air of tradition and solemn majesty. Bai Ningbing and I walked side by side into the main hall. Xiaoqi and Xiaoming were temporarily taken to the next room, to be looked after by Ningbing's trusted nanny. Bai Jan sat on a wooden chair in the head seat, wearing a Chinese-style cheongsam robe, fiddling with a string of red sandalwood beads in his hand. He looked to be in his early 50s, very well preserved, with only the wrinkles at the corners of his eyes, and the silver hairs on his temples revealing his true age. His gaze was sharp, sweeping over me with a calculated, assessing look. Father, Bai Ningbing spoke softly, her attitude respectful but keeping a distance. Mr. Bai, I greeted simply neither arrogant nor self-deprecating. Baijan didn't reply right away, only slowly spinning the prayer beads. His gaze shifted back and forth between us. The atmosphere in the main hall was suffocatingly oppressive. Sit down, finally, he spoke, his voice deep and powerful. Bai Ningbing and I sat on the opposite chairs. The servant served tea and then quietly backed out. 5 years, Baijan said slowly, his gaze locked tightly on me. Feng Yuan, you made my granddaughters disappear for 5 whole years. To protect them, so I calmly replied. Protect them from whom? Baijan questioned. From the Bai family. This question was way too sharp. I looked at Bai Ningbing. For a moment, she nodded slightly, signaling me to just speak from the heart. From everyone who could harm them. I chose a neutral answer, including those who used the Bai family's name to act. The corner of Baijan's mouth curved into a barely noticeable arc. Smart? He didn't name names, but the meaning was clear enough. He picked up his teacup, gently blowing on it. Regarding Zhao Ming's matter, Ningbing handled it. He acted on his own against my orders, but you need to understand clearly why he did that. It's because he understood my stance on this matter. Finally getting to the main point, then what is your stance on this matter, Mr. Bai? I asked. Baijan set his teacup down, his eyes shining like torches. 5 years ago, I believed that you damaged Ningbing's honor and ruined the marriage alliance between the Bai family and the Gu family. I indeed wanted you and those 2 children to disappear. Such direct honesty actually caught me a bit by surprise. But what about now? Bai Ningbing couldn't help but speak up. Now, Baijan's gaze softened slightly. I have seen how Ningbing has lived over the past 5 years. She buried herself in work, rejected everyone's advances, and even distanced herself from the family. At first I thought she was holding a grudge, but later I understood she was blaming herself and longing for you. Bai Ningbing's body trembled slightly clearly, not expecting her father to say such things. Last month, I finally met my granddaughters. Baijan continued, a rare softness appearing on his face. The 2 children are very lovely, smart and polite. When they called me grandpa, he paused for a moment, seemingly trying to control his emotions. I finally realized that I almost lost my actual family for the sake of so-called family honor. These words were completely outside my expectations. I thought I'd be facing threats and coercion, but who would have thought it'd be sincerity and reflection? What do you mean, you? I cautiously asked. Baijan stood up, walked toward the window, and turned his back to us. I mean, let the past be the past. You can choose your own way of living. I won't interfere, but there are 2 conditions. Please speak, sir. I also stood up. Xiao Qi and Xiao Ming must acknowledge themselves as descendants of the Bai family. They can keep your last name Fang, but they must have a place in the family tree. I looked over at Bai Ningbing and she nodded slightly. This request wasn't too unreasonable. The second condition. Baijan turned around, his eyes serious. You 2 must get married. This condition left both me and Bai Ningbing completely stunned. Father, Bai Ningbing protested. This is absurd. Absurd. How so? Baijan questioned back. You already have children together. Between the 2 of you. It's not like there's absolutely no affection. Getting married to give your kids a complete family. What's absurd about that? Bai Ningbing stammered. I took a deep breath. Mr. Bai, feelings cannot be forced. Between Ningbing and me, there is indeed a bond because of the children. But marriage requires much more foundation than that. Baijan stared at me for a long time, then suddenly laughed. Feng Yuan, do you know why I changed my attitude? It's not just because of my granddaughters. He walked back to his seat, took a file from the drawer, and handed it to me. Take a look at this. I skeptically opened the folder. Inside was a stack of photos and reports. The photos showed moments of me protecting Xiaoqi and Xiao Ming on various occasions. There were pictures that even I didn't realize were being taken. The report detailed my tracks over the past 5 years. How hard I worked to raise the kids, how I avoided potential dangers, and how under limited conditions one gave my daughters the absolute best. I've investigated you for 5 years. Baijan confessed. At first it was to find your weakness. Later it was to understand you. A man who can go to this extent for his children deserves respect. I flipped through the documents, my heart filled with mixed emotions. It turned out that for the past 5 years I had always been under the surveillance of the Bai family. You've been monitoring us this whole time. Bai Ningbing's voice was full of anger. Monitoring to protect, Baijan corrected. You think you were the only one who hired people to protect them? The first hiring contract for Black Dao Jing was actually sent out by me. This truth left me dumbfounded. Black Dao Jing was hired by Baijan first. Why? I asked. Because I know my own child well? Baijan looked toward Bai Ningbing. She would find you guys sooner or later, and before that happened, I had to ensure your safety. During those years, Zhao Ming wasn't the only one keeping tabs on you. Bai Ningbing's eyes grew red. Father. Baijan's tone softened. I was wrong. For these past 5 years now, I want to make amends. But making amends isn't just a simple apology. It's about creating the best future for the children. He looked back at me. Fang Yuan, I'm not demanding that you love each other and get married right away, but at least give each other a chance for the sake of the kids, and also for yourselves. The main hall fell into silence. The sunlight outside the window filtered through the carved wooden frame, casting mottled patterns of light on the floor. A long while later, Bai Ningbing softly said, Fang Yuan, what do you think? I looked at the photos in my hands, the documents, recording my hard 5-year journey, and then raised my head to look at Bai Ningbing. In her eyes, there was anticipation but also anxiety. We can give it a try. Finally, I spoke. Not for the family honor, nor for anyone else. Just for Xiaoqi and Xiaoming, and also to see if we actually have a chance to be together. The corner of Bai Ningbing's mouth curved upward, tears glistening in her eyes. Bai Jian nodded in satisfaction. Good. The wedding can be postponed for now, but the engagement ceremony must be held. The Bai family needs to give outsiders an explanation and also give the children an official status. A month later, at the Bai family estate in the garden, which was decorated with white fresh flowers and light blue silk ribbons. There weren't many guests, only close relatives, and a few intimate friends of the Bai family. This was a small-scale engagement ceremony, low-key but warm. Xiaoqi and Xiaoming wore matching white formal outfits, running around the garden like two little angels. Bai Suerong followed closely behind them, afraid they might trip over each other. Bai Ningbing stood next to me. She wore a simple yet elegant light blue long dress. She rarely wore such exquisite makeup, looking so beautiful under the sunlight that it made it impossible for people to look away. Are you nervous? She asked softly. A little bit, I admitted. I never expected this day to come. Bai Ningbing smiled a smile that came straight from the heart, warm and genuine. I didn't expect it either, but this feeling isn't bad at all. The ceremony was very simple, exchanging rings and short vows. As I slipped the ring onto Bai Ningbing's finger, her hand trembled slightly, and when she put the ring on me, I saw tears flashing, welling up in her eyes. For the kids, she softly whispered, and for our future, I replied. The guests began to clap and offer their blessings. Bai Jian stood in the most prominent spot, with a gentle smile on his face, seeing the man who was once most adamantly opposed to us, now become our strongest pillar of support. After the ceremony ended, Bai Ningbing and I found a quiet little corner in the garden. There's something I want to ask, Yishou. Bai Ningbing suddenly brought up, about Black Dao Jing. Do you know his real identity? I nodded. I know a little bit. His real name is Lin Ye. He used to be a volunteer for human modification experiments. An incident occurred during the experiment, and he managed to escape living in the underworld under the identity of a mercenary. Why does he protect Suerong's? Bai Ningbing asked. It can't be just to pay back a debt, right? I pondered for a moment. I think Suerong is the only light in his life. When he was at his weakest, she gave him genuine help, without any fear or shunning of his differences, to Lin Ye. This warmth is worth protecting with his entire life. Bai Ningbing looked thoughtful, just like the way I protect the children. You could say that, I admitted. We've both found someone worth protecting. While we were talking, Xiaoming and Xiaoqi ran over and threw themselves into our arms. Daddy, Mommy, the two children said excitedly. Grandpa said he'll take us to Disney next week. Xiaoming also nodded. Grandpa also said he'll teach us how to ride horses. It seemed like Bai Jian had completely accepted his two granddaughters and was even starting to spoil them. All right, we'll all go together. Bai Ningbing lovingly stroked the children's heads. I looked at this scene, my heart swelling with an indescribable peace and contentment. 5 years of running and protecting had finally paid off with a happy ending like this. The children finally had a complete family, with a loving mom, dad, and grandpa. Perhaps the love between me and Bai Ningbing still needs time to be nurtured. Perhaps the Bai family still has challenges ahead. Perhaps the story of Black Dao Jing and Bai Suerong hasn't stopped there just yet. But right at this moment, the sunshine is beautiful. The flowers in the garden are blooming in full color. My two children are laughing in my arms, and my fiancé is smiling by my side. That's enough. The future is long, and we have plenty of time to slowly write the next chapters of our own story. As night fell, the guests left and the estate returned to its usual tranquility. I stood on the balcony, looking at the city lights in the distance. Bai Ningbing walked over and handed me a glass of warm water. She still remembered that I don't like to drink alcohol. What are you thinking about? She asked. I'm thinking about everything over the past 5 years. I took the glass of water, thinking about those tough times, remembering the first time the kids called me dad, and the heart-racing moments of evading pursuit. Do you regret it? Bai Ningbing softly asked. Do you regret meeting me? Regret having Xiaoming and Xiaoqi? I turned my head to look at her. Speaking seriously, I have never once regretted it. They are the most precious gifts in my life, and you are the one who brought those gifts to me. Tears glistened in Bai Ningbing's eyes. She leaned against my shoulder. I'm sorry for the things I said 5 years ago. I'm sorry that for the past few years you had to bear all the hardships alone. I wrapped my arm around her shoulder. Everything is in the past now. Right now we have a brand new beginning. The night sky was filled with twinkling stars. The night breeze was gentle and the lights in the estate gradually went out, leaving only our room still lit. Downstairs, Xiaoming and Xiaoqi's room was already quiet. Tonight, the kids were sleeping with their grandpa. Bai Jian insisted on staying close to his granddaughters. Feng Yuan, Bai Ningbing, suddenly said, when the kids grow up a bit more, should we have another baby? A child born out of complete and total love. This proposal made my heart stir. Are you sure? I'm sure. She looked up at me, her gaze firm and gentle. I want to experience the feeling of being with you, from the moment of pregnancy until welcoming our child into the world, wanting to look forward to a new life with you, and together plan for our child's future. I gently kissed her forehead. All right. Once the kids enter elementary school, we will consider it. The moonlight shone down on the balcony, elongating our two silhouettes, intertwined tightly together. The city lights in the distance were still twinkling, just like a hope that would never fade. And within this ancient estate, a once broken family was gradually being healed, and a love that was once severed was sprouting again. 5 years of separation and waiting, 5 years of protecting and growing up. Finally, tonight, a perfect, happy ending was drawn. Tomorrow, the sun will still rise, and we will hold hands together to welcome new dawns.